Welcome everyone to Valhalla Esports Season 4 Week 3 games. I am joined tonight by Deity and Malco. How you boys doing?
What's going on? What's going on, guys? And I'm glad to be here for this nice late night stream. Well, for Deity, not so late, but for me, it's currently midnight. So this is gonna be a fun one. How about you, Deity?
Yep, DGen hours, late night stream. Let's get it.
We're league players. We're always up for the DGen hours.
Yeah, I just got back from visiting a beard at Lake Ann. He came down to Virginia to fish and drove down with Blitz. We went there, drank some beers, had some fun, and now we're back to stream some games. Let's have some fun.
Man, that's crazy, Hailstrom. First you were up where I was, and you got to see me and Beard, and then now you went down to go see Beard. It's crazy. Everybody's just see. It's like a Valhalla meetup.
I'm just all over the place to see my homies.
That's how you know Hailstrom's a true friend, guys. Well, with that said and everything ready to go, today we present to you guys this week. It's looking like, I believe it was FF15 versus Kraken Slayer with the roll calls as is top lane Hailstrom, jungle, tack alley, mid, Astros, ADC, critter, and support killer kumquat, with FF15 having top lane being HYG smoothly, jungle, the salt, mid, Bentage, ADC, covert panda, with the support being KB jelly. How do you guys feel about these two teams? Or DD, or anybody wants to chime in?
Yeah, I mean, we got pretty good lineups. We do have some mismatches in terms of salary, so it's always interesting to see. On we have a bit of a mismatch in jungle and mid lane is the biggest. We got like lower salary mid on FF15, and then lower salary jungle on Kraken. Other than that, it's like a little bit of a discrepancy in the top lane and support roles, but overall, it's curious to see what kind of comps these teams arrange, and who gets to put it on the carry pants tonight.
And to be expected from both of these teams. Right now, I'm not sure what the standings for each of these teams are currently, but I know that right now the entire league in itself is just kind of like all over the place.
For coming into this week, FF15 was 2-0, and Kraken Slayers were 1-1. So both teams looking strong coming into the week.
Yep, and then right now Kraken Slayers are looking to take away that undefeated streak from FF15, but FF15 wanting to keep that strong. Right, if we have nothing else to get said and through, we can go ahead and start getting right into the draft screen. Going right into game one draft here, guys. Again, these games were attempted to be live casted previously on Sunday, but unfortunately, a small indie company known as Riot Games does not like it when we stream at the same time as LCS Challengers. So, yeah, I don't know. Something's up with Spectator Bug, but here we're gonna bring you guys the full games this time. Should be no mishaps, no freezes, no craziness. Instead, you guys should be getting some bangers of games right here. So from from the first side of bands, we got Lilia, MF, and Nocturne, and on the side of FF15, we do have the Yasuo, the Yon, and the Urgot band.
Yep, that's it's classic bands on the side of FF15 for Kraken Slayers. First pick Volibear, pretty big. Volibear's a pretty good champion right now. Usually jungle, but can be flexed to top lane, as we've seen previous teams do. But yeah, Volibear first pick's pretty good, pretty standard, pretty contested.
I like that. That's been one of the picker bands in this current state of just not even like our league particularly, but just the game. Volibear proving to be a very powerful champion currently, and I'm not surprised for it to be picked up here by Kraken Slayers. It's definitely a good replacement if you want to put it in that top side, especially if you want to give Hailstorm something strong to be able to split push on, or if you want to put it in that jungle, just have it be everywhere and allow it to influence the map. While FF15 picks up the Morgana and Maokai, already rounding out their team to look pretty good to try to basically disengage any engage from the side of Kraken Slayer. And right now, that's a really decently done right here from those two picks.
Yeah, usually in normal team compositions, I'm not a fan of blind picking Morgana just because I think it's a very abusable champion. But you know, Bentage is the signature Morgana expert, so you know, just wants to be comfortable in game one. And then Maokai is a good flex pick, can technically go in 3 different roles. But we'll see. We'll see. Most likely it's a support pick, but we'll see on that one.
I'm expecting it in that support pick. It makes sense for the most part. I haven't really seen it in the other lanes or in the jungle in general, like as a strong pick or like an immediate, like the strongest flex. At least in more recent time, I know that Maokai at one point was like it was the Volibear where it's like that champion just pick it or ban it. It has to be one of the two. And then the final pick for FF15, it looks like it ends up being the Senna for their last phase one pick. I guess they just want to have that ability to keep themselves safe, and I'm guessing that's going to end up being a Senna Maokai.
Yeah, it could be Son of Maokai. And then we gotta also have a Galio Jinx for Kraken Slayers. Most likely Galio support. It's a killer kumquat favorite. And then Jinx just being a standard hyper carry for Critter, or getting a Garen ban on the side of FF15 towards Hailstrom, an Olaf ban, presumably going at Smoothie, but it could be you know, flex to jungle as they're giving Olaf some jungle buffs now. Getting a Mordekaiser ban also for Hailstrom top lane, just pinching his champion pool a bit. Most likely just banning good blind picks, and then we also have the Trundle coming out or banning, most likely towards top side, but Trundle Jungle is also viable. And then I do see a Vi pickup for FF15, and that is presumably going in the jungle for Salt. We have Vladimir coming out for mid lane for Astros, who is, you know, that seems to be a comfort pick for him this season.
Vlad has been, I think Vlad in general this season has been very interesting. It's making more of a resurgence, and it's good to see that this champion is kind of making its slow comeback.
Yeah, and then we were finishing out the Ornn for Hailstrom up in that top lane. Overall, just really decent comp coming out from Kraken Slayers. And then are we going to get a Gwen pickup? It looks like, yep, we're going to get a Gwen pickup for FF15. And that, you know, in a vacuum does pretty good in the tank matchups in general. Kraken Slayers do have a lot of like melee champions on the team, so Gwen really is most likely only going to be able to really Hallowed Radiance against the Jinx. Vladimir is pretty like melee dependent, so yeah, it'll just be I think if that champion gets ahead, it can be a threat to their tanks a bit there, since they don't really have any other champions that are really good at dealing with tanks. At least Senna isn't really good at dealing with them early game. So overall, good draft from both teams, considering what their strong suits are. Which one are you leaning towards, Malco?
In this particular situation, I think I'm gonna say I probably lean more towards FF15, just because I like the ability for them to not only it's like I guess it's like just the ability to kind of really disengage on a lot of the stuff that Kraken Slayers wants to do. And that's initially like what I think about like for their combos. Immediately I look at it and I'm like, okay, like they have a lot of these go buttons and they have a lot of ability to go in, but I feel that FF15 has a lot of ability to kind of like soften that blow of what the team fighting that Kraken Slayers wants to end up doing. So, but then they also still have to be careful. They only have so much like pick and engage for themselves as well. So I think right now I'm leaning more towards FF15 just for the sake of that they have the ability to pick off certain people and to really gain access to that backline. Senna eventually is gonna get to the point where she can't be touched, and then Gwen, as you said, can eventually be significant trouble for their tanks. So it just seems like FF15 was trying to answer a lot of the like what was ever Kraken Slayers was saying to do that they wanted to do. They were answering to it. So I think FF15 is looking pretty good for this game one.
Yeah, I think that it's kind of interesting. So, like, I think a lot of both teams really opted for heavy scaling in both of their comps. I think Vlad and Jinx are usually like slow starters. Ornn is usually Ornn can be a lane bully if you're playing it well, but ultimately again you're just kind of scaling as as an engaged tank. And then on the side of FFS you have Senna Maokai, which again is Senna takes a little bit to get online. Morgana has a little bit more wave clear than Vlad, but ultimately still kind of just not gonna do that much in the early game. Doesn't have that much damage. We'll see. I think if the Vi can get really big leads in this jungle, it can definitely make it difficult for the carries like Jinx to play early game. But yeah.
Most definitely. So with that's everything said, I guess we're ready to go ahead and get right into game one of Kraken Slayers versus FF15.
All right, so for runes, we have a couple interesting ones. We have the Conqueror Galio. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but yeah, Conqueror is not usually a support Galio keystone. And then we also have Dark Harvest on Vladimir, which is also not a normal keystone. But other than that, everyone else has pretty standard keystones, I'd say.
Yeah, it was just that's something I'm very interested to see like how Vlad is gonna make Dark Harvest work in this particular situation. I was expecting something more of like the phase rush, which is probably a little bit more common for Vlad, but
Yeah, for Vlad, he usually if he wants to play for like late game or like mid game, he usually takes like phase rush. If he wants to play against like a mage for early game, he'll take like summon Airy. Usually Dark Harvest isn't a unusable keystone. It's just one that it takes a long time to get online, and also got pretty heavily nerfed when they were I would say for like laners, for example, when they nerfed the base damage of a lot of runes. But yeah.
what did you see? Right.
Also, a quick shout out to all the primers as we were getting into the stream. Thank you, Salt. Thank you, Deity. Thank you, Malco. Thank you, myself. We'll love you all for at least 30 days.
We'll love each other.
Everybody guaranteed themselves a little bit of extra love for 30 days here with Valhalla Esports. Once again, thank you guys for using your primes here as we try to keep everything going, keep the games rolling for you guys, even when Riot doesn't want us to. They're not gonna stop us. So here we
True.
are. We got the games going so far. Nothing really too exciting has happened as of yet, but it's only 2 minutes in, so we're just eagerly awaiting. Here we go. Engage, flash away, having to get a little bit of drop down, goes and snares her in. He tries to actually get her to go back towards Senna and instead pushes the Jinx away. Decent engage though from KB Jelly there. Another rotation like that could mean a kill.
Yeah, Killer Kumquat did a really good job on blowing Covert's flash. I don't think Critter had to retaliate with his ghost. I think he could have just like got the poke off and walked it out, but yeah, I mean, flash for ghost even still is still a positive trade for Kraken Slayers.
Still, I think it's still a relatively even bot lane between both, especially since they do have that one extra combat summoner in the heal. So that'll at least be able to help them in some of those extra engages if Killer does decide to go in on them.
Yeah, they do have the exhaust for Gallia rather than the ignite from KB, so a little bit more combat power, but the double flashes will make Kraken Slayers not as prone to ganks as Senna might have struggle with if Tac Alley visits bot lane.
Right now, we're seeing that both junglers are currently hovering towards the top side of the map instead of towards that bottom side. So bot lane right now currently safe to go ahead and continue these little skirmishes that they have between one another. While I'm actually looking, it looks like Tac Alley is actually trying to invade in on the Vi. Nope, just decides to leave.
Astros did have push, but like I said before, both mid laners are pretty weak early game in terms of combat strength, so doubt we're going to see a lot of tussles around mid lane. Just both champions are just kind of scaling mages that have trouble landing their damage early on. Morgana is super mana hungry.
Yeah, so trying to compete against Astros right now in that respect is really difficult for him. Oh, hold on, Smoothie. Oh, managed to dodge out on the charge from the Ornn, and then that ends their little fight there. A small gank from the Salt here into the mid lane on Astros. Just to let them know that they are, the junglers still do exist here, guys. So don't forget, they will be showing their faces very, very soon once they get the opportune moment to do so.
Yeah, it's again, like I mentioned, like blind picking Morgana just does have its weaknesses. That you pick a champion like Vlad that, you know, doesn't really have the CC to make use of like Black Shield. Besides, you can just Black Shield yourself to block some damage. Morgana also has trouble hitting Vladimir with anything, since if direct Q somehow does land or like is about to land, you can just pull it. Not much Morgana can do to respond to just Vlad out sustaining the lane.
I don't really see a major place where like Morgana full on beats Vlad in lane or at least wins the lane. No. And look at that, Void Grub's already taken all three, given to the side of Kraken Slayers.
Yeah, ideally the Morgana is more a champion. If you were to pick it, if you were to make sense of the Morgana pick, it would be to support the Gwen and the Vi. Like you could Q off the Vi ult, you can E the Gwen to run in so it can't get CC'd and it can just run at the Jinx. Those kinds of plays, you're just using the Black Shield for your teammates and following up on their CC.
I'm waiting for somebody to just show us that they're getting bored and they want to start something here. We're 6 minutes in. All it's been
Might
is
be
just
waiting a
small
while.
skirmishes.
Might be waiting a while. Both teams have opted for scaling, besides a couple. You know, you have like Tac Alley and Salt playing more early game centric junglers, but the rest of the laners are pretty heavy scaling.
Thank you, Lord Melikor, for the subscription as well. You get your 30 days of love from Valhalla Esports.
As you said, yeah, a lot of scaling options here.
What's up, Beard? I hope you're having a fun vacation.
Hi, Beard.
Hey. Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Ults both drawn. Ult lands onto Smoothie, and first blood with the solo up in the solo. Wow, solo kill up in the top side for Hailstrom.
The solo dolo, big.
Honestly, I gotta. Can we get like? Do we have like a stat for like who has the most solo kills? Because I feel like I'm not sure if it's just that I cast a lot of Hailstrom's games, but I feel like he gets a lot of solo kills.
It's a hard stat to
I
track.
don't think we track that.
Yeah, it's a hard stat to track since most of the stats are tracked by endgame screens. But yeah, I mean, can ping Bulgaria and see if he wants to watch through every single VOD.
I'll take the bill. Beard, you got me drunk. I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, Ornn is deceptively strong at fighting early game, especially when he gets his ult combo. So it's not just people don't expect tanks to do damage. Ornn is the classic 200 years tank paladin assassin mage.
No, they're right on him once again. Smoothie can't catch a break. Tack Alley's up here, but he's pretty deep under his turret. Should be able to walk this one out. Had to use the ghost to get that little bit extra movement speed, but Smoothie now safe under his turret. Still not feeling good in this lane though.
No, you got me drunk, Beard. It was all you.
Looks as though as Hailstrom's going to freeze the lane, possibly. Can't see how many minions he's got. He might just be opting to push it. Gwen does have to take a reset here without TP.
Here we go. Both ults used in the mid lane. Vi is now here to try to help. Lands it, but the pool's gonna be able to be there. And now Astro should be able to get away. Not enough. Nice Senna ulti to be able to grab that kill from Covert and protect the Vi from taking any more turret damage. Nicely done to be able to get another kill for the for the side of FF15. Oh, the Salt, you're too deep in that jungle with so little HP. Tack Alley just catching him on your Raptors and is going to be able to take out Vi's life.
Yeah, it's good comms from, jeez, just non-stop fighting, right?
Oh, yeah, yep, no, I literally said I'm waiting for them to get bored, and now everybody's flashing,
Everybody's
combating.
bored.
Everybody was Kung Fu fighting all over the Rift, and now we do have what it looks like is now what's starting to become a game. It's only 3 kills in this game, but everyone is now like, all right, it's time to really start to open this up a little bit. And once we hit this 10-minute mark, I suspect that the game itself is gonna start to really open up once we want to start fighting around these objectives. Looks like Volibear once again is already at the next set of Void Grubs. Bentage attempting to walk up, but oh, Vi's actually here this time.
Gonna get some fist fighting.
Oh, ready. Be able to engage on it. Ornhorde called in, trying to land it onto somebody. Able to keep Vi out of the pit for just a little bit more time. All 6 Void Grubs secured. A Volley ult used. Maokai ult used. Everybody going in, but it's going to be a lot of damage. Drop Tack Alley going to be able to take out the Soul. Jinx Rock is going to be able to come in, get a lot of damage. But Benson is going to be able to take out Astros. We still have a top side fight going on between Gwen and Hailstrom. Still trying to get a little bit more down. Double kill going right over to Bentage as we see more kills going over to Tack Alley. But that's a big old triple kill going over to the FF15 mid laner as they were able to take out that fight. They lose all 6 Void Grubs, but they're able to take the fight in the end for themselves.
Yeah, it was a good fight from FF15. They did have the numbers on their side. Jinx is just bot lane collecting plates, so ultimately Jinx does get a little bit of momentum there from everyone just going to grubs, and then Kraken Slayers also got all 6 grubs, so ultimately still just a good play for Kraken.
Interesting engage from the Salt here to just jump right onto Critter using the ult and everything. A lot of damage jumped on there, but I guess making a statement.
Yep, Salt's just letting his presence be known. Yeah, there was a lot to unpack with the last probably like 4 minutes of the gameplay because everything was just happening at the same time. But Salt able to get some things done with Bentage in the mid lane, able to capitalize on Vladimir's like weak early game to try to get some fights going their way. Unfortunately, losing the objective.
Ooh, Bentage so close. He was trying to predict him, thinking he was gonna go off, and that would have been a really
the
good
issue with Morgana is she is a bit slow.
Tack Alley.
bit unreliable in terms of skill shots. Not as good as some of the other mages at landing crowd control really quick, like Syndra or Ari.
Oh, and then here's another fight. I guess that was the ult used by the Gwen, trying to get a bunch of damage down onto the Ornn. Hailstrom still fighting all of this, able to take a lot. That brittle damage used it's deceptively strong. People have got to realize that. Ghost used after the Morgana ult was used to get away. Astro's able to live from that, but Killer, you might not be able to if they continue to chase you down. Oh, no, gets away.
I think Smoothie should have been able to just run down Hailstrom, but maybe he just was a little bit scared of the damage potential.
Makes himself immune.
Is the problem with the matchup is you kind of have to bait out the W before you can ult on the Ornn.
Oh, Jinx had the flash. I don't know if that was any point or if it was going to save you now. Caught in between two, and the support this time gets that kill for themselves. KB Jelly going to take that kill on the critter. Oh,
yeah, they're just
between two different people, just immediately into another fight, trying to get away. Not going to mean anything. Shut down. Astro's able to take that kill onto Bentage, but this time the Salt catching Hailstrom up in the top side and is able to take that kill as well. Man, are y'all gonna give me a break, man? Y'all are really just fighting back and forth all over the place. Now they gotta just chase him down. Doesn't end up getting it, but the Vi does. Goes under his turret. Has to use the ult to be able to get away from the Gwen and Vi. But everybody's just looking for another fight everywhere.
I don't know if we had to use the ult. It was an option to use the ult, but yeah, I don't think Vi and Gwen had lethal there over the Volibear. He was still at half HP and he was pretty much under his turret.
I know. I was surprised to see the ult get. Like,
he might have assumed that one of them had ultimate and didn't want to risk being dove and not. But if the Vi ults, you can always ult to counter it and be unstoppable.
Exactly.
So yeah, it might have just been he didn't want to risk dying there. But he probably could have saved the ultimate.
I mean, the game itself is generally even, so I think it was actually smart to go ahead and try to just save yourself instead of giving away more. Alt not able to land the CC, so Tac Alley gonna be able to get away from the Gwen. Gwen having used the ult there as well. So yeah, I do see what you mean by the unreliability of Morgana's Q not being able to be landed consistently. Oh no, Killer. You were able to bait him in, and now the exhaust gets dropped. Tac Alley chasing you down, but Bentage is here to help. Able to not land that Q, but the E is going to be able to save Covert Panda from getting any CC drawn onto them, and now Tac Alley can't even chase them down anymore.
So Morgana Bind is best used when you have other CC in front. So when the Maokai W's on someone, when the Vi ults on someone, you can use the Morgana Q to extend the duration.
Critter, they're doing it again, man. You're getting caught in between the rock and the hard place, but this time it's a tree and a gun, and they're looking for you. Covert Panda able to take that kill, but now Hailstrom was able to use the TP to get to the bot lane and able to take them here. Uses the R to go in, but now Gwen is here. Smoothie's looking to help, but Killer using the ult to get in here too. Now there's three because Astros was coming in from behind. Uses the ult on him, and now there's two people on the KB Jelly. Three as Astros is able to take out Covert Panda from the faraway shot off screen, and KB Jelly now gonna lose his life to the Vlad as he takes a double kill in that bot side. Rift Herald is summoned in the mid lane, but that was a bunch of kills just dropped over to the side of Kraken Slayers from FF15.
I'm also not sure exactly what Bentage is building in his what he's going for here. I would assume he's going for a Rylai's. But he just kind of has Build-A-Bear items right now, so you know, he does have 3 kills, but not really much of a power spiky yet, whereas Vlad does have his completed Riftmaker. Did pick up a couple good kills in the bot lane, so Vladimir is, you know, very much back in this game after having a rough start.
I'm expecting it to be probably once Morgana gets their first item, it'll make more of a difference for the team. But yeah, like you're saying, having all these different components is kind of causing a little bit of a stir for him. Black Shield drop. Oh wow, the fancy feat on the Senna, able to get so much done, but not having to draw the ultimate out of Volibear, be able to kill out Covert Panda. Tac Alley gonna be able to take that kill, Morgana still lives. But that was very nicely done by Covert Panda to draw so much out from them and dodging so much of it too, to the point where basically you needed a point and click.
Yeah, I mean, Takali is playing the Volibear exceptionally well in terms of he is using the early game champion and trying to pick a lot of fights in the early game, which is what you are supposed to do on the champion. It's what the champion's good at doing. So good on Takali for not falling into the pit of despair that is just farming in jungle for 20 minutes until late game team fights. He is actually using the strength of the Volibear to his advantage, so we love to see it.
And now being able to cut off that dragon stacking that was being built up by FF15. They were losing all the topside objectives, so they were trying to make do with the dragons, and now they finally stopped that as Kraken Slayer secures their first Infernal Drake, which is the Infernal map for this time around as well.
Yeah, I think the Rod of Ages Maokai is also interesting to point out. Morgana did finish their Leandries.
Oh, and yep, so now that's going to be a little bit more damage coming off from the Morgana. We see a little bit of damage dropped onto Astros there, trying to get the Vlad caught out, but it wasn't going to be enough. I'm hoping that there's a little bit of extra. Hold on, we got a little bit of a skirmish up in this top side. Grievous Wounds dropped onto Gwen, but now we got the taunt landed on the Covert Panda, but that's 3 people right onto Killer Quanquat, rooted, stranded all alone. The support is now going to lose their life in that bot side. Astros now having to use his ult as Morgana uses theirs. Go ahead, stun. Lots of damage drawn on. 1v1 between the 2 mid laners right now. The Morgana Q not going to land as the pool was used. And Astros able to take that kill. Now Vi looking to go flash in, punch, shut down. Going over to the Vi there, getting revenge for their mid laner.
Yeah, that's just another instance of... I mean, Vintage played that probably about as well as he could have, besides the...
Yeah, this is gonna get a solo dolo going up top side. Hailstrom went for that for quite some time. Like that was a very long fight in that moment. Flash.
Sadly.
Covert Panda though, getting the return kill, giving a little bit of gold over to Smoothie after he sees that gray screen. Just in the right place at the right time, and Hailstrom unfortunately had to lose his life for it.
We are playing a very scrappy game of League of Legends. That is for sure.
Oh, we most definitely are. I love it. I love seeing when games become like a kill a minute, and it's just everybody's just I think this particular season just kind of like almost rewards that. If you're really fighting a lot, like you will start to notice your team start to reap benefits of it, whether it is getting the objectives, but you also have to win those fights, and that's the other side of it too.
Yeah, both teams are kind of just accelerating their late game champions, except unfortunately the Jinx and the Jinx is not getting any of these kills, which is unfortunate. The fights are just not really happening around the Jinx this game. But the rest of everyone else is getting their getting their gold in.
Come on, Smoothie, you're getting a little bit of a fight under your own turret, but Astros on this Vlad feeling himself as he's able to go ahead and dive into the turret and take another solo for himself onto Smoothie, the top laner. I do agree with what you're saying though, because like right now, Senna doesn't necessarily need fights to be happening around her to be able to stack up to be able to scale, you know what I mean? Like she can, oh, hold on. Right now, they're engaging. Ornhorn called in, able to land on 2. Senna ult comes out, and we got a whole lot of damage being dropped, but Tac Alley nearly taken out. Not able to get the Senna, but Vi takes out Tac Alley in the background instead, while Critter is able to take out Vintage. Now, the Galley ulti being dropped onto Hailstrom, trying to help save him, but double kill going over to Vi as a double kill is going over to Senna, but shut down by Critter. And we do see a triple kill now for Vi, and that is a near ace, as Astros is the only living member for the side of Kraken Slayers. I believe if he was there, that fight would have went completely different. But in that moment, it is now FF15's fight to take, but they do still trail 1,000 gold behind.
Yeah, Vlad is definitely the most fed member on the side of Kraken Slayers, but he did just dive the top laner and kill them. Does not have teleport, so not really able to join in that skirmish there. Jinx did get a couple of needed kills, so it's not all doom and gloom, but Senna and Vi also got their share as well. They also got theirs.
Yeah, honestly, this Vlad is looking like a problem. You just saw right there on the Vi, able to do a decent amount of damage to them. So yeah, it's looking like we got a gang up on the Vlad right now, using the pool to go ahead and try to get away. Had to use the ult to try to get a little bit extra HP. 716 healed, but now there's more attack allies able to help separate them. Shut down. Astro's able to take out the Vi and is now chasing down the top laners. He already solo killed him once. He kills him again, and we have now KB Jelly caught in between 4 members of their team, knocked up, and it's gonna get shredded as Ornn takes that kill, and now they want to chase down more. Ult used by the Morgana, trying to go ahead and get a little extra CC. Bench is able to take a kill, at the very least 2 kills for himself, as he also takes out a shutdown onto Astros, and the kill onto Killer Kumquat coming out for Covert Panda. Covert Panda now trying to run away, but trying to get a little bit more. Able to take that kill, but there's a shutdown for Critter as they get a much needed kill for themselves in the middle of that fight. It is only one person left on the map, and it's Jinx all alone.
Her big sister's coming. Don't worry, she's not gonna be alone for long.
Big sis is on the way to teach you a little lesson, Jinx. But I think it's just funny to see how that fight just all like it just literally turned into a whole 9-person death fest. I love that. I love seeing that type of stuff happen.
Yeah, the Kraken static is I think this was played on. Yeah, this is played on the patch after static got nerfed, so this is just a something where it's like we're not really we don't read the patch notes, or we don't think that the 200 gold deficit on the static really equates to anything. Unfortunately, since the Jinx didn't get a lot of kills in the early game, it was probably safer just to build the Kraken into like better items. Delayed her power spike just a little bit, but there isn't too many, like armor stackers on the side of FF15 as of this point, so it might not make that big of a difference.
I think for her right now, especially, I think what her next item is IE, I want to say, for third item. If that's the case, I think right now the Jinx feels to be in a pretty good spot, has a decent shutdown, and the kills that the Jinx actually ended up getting were all shutdowns, if I remember correctly. 2 shutdowns onto Senna and shutdown on someone else. I can't remember who exactly. So it's not like, even though she's low on the kills, the gold, I would say, is probably still pretty decent for her. So that at the very least isn't so bad. Like, we can look and it's very clearly like she's farming. Senna has 2 items, boots, and then the support item, well, she's sitting on a BF sword, 2 items, and boots. So I think we gotta be careful with this Jinx, because if she gets just excited once, it could possibly be an entire team fight eviscerated for FF15.
Yeah, we did mention Galio's Keystone twice in the beginning of the game, and then I did make a little side comment on KB's build, but KB builds what KB wants to build. At the end of the day, he's his own man. He doesn't follow your poor professors. He does his own thing. He's truly an innovator. That KB Jelly.
If it makes it work, if they somehow manage to win this game, I'm not gonna sit there. I'm not gonna sit there and act like it didn't work. He's 1-2-10 for his team right now. Something's working. It's doing something.
Yeah, he's running fast and he has a lot of mana. What are we saying? That is what we're doing. And yeah, I don't think Static Shiv was ever great on Jinx, but it was more of Static Shiv was just a really, I think, like a really cost-efficient item, and a lot of AD carries built it, so Jinx also built it because win rate stats go burr.
It's interesting that you say that, because like, yeah, it gives you AD, attack speed, the extra wave clear. There was a lot of efficiency parts to Static Shiv that made it very useful, and there's obviously some champions that use it better than others, but Jinx, just being one of those champions that doesn't have a lot of wave clear and stuff, and just kind of needs that little bit of extra assistance, I guess it kind of helps.
I mean, Jinx actually has a lot of wave clear for an AD carry. Jinx rockets do a lot of AoE damage, so she doesn't really need it for the wave clear. It's more of just like, I guess you can argue it's a tempo item for early game, because she doesn't have a lot of AD, so she doesn't like one-shot creeps. But once she gets like 2 items, she's pretty much just one-shotting waves. She doesn't really need the extra, 2 seconds off of clearing a wave from static shiv, I guess.
Yeah, you're probably right. And especially like I was just thinking probably more of like that early game aspect of like how her rockets can run up a lot of mana if you're mismanaging or not utilizing it well. So I think I was thinking from that aspect of it. It's just more of an efficiency. But yeah, you're right. Like if you wanted to delay her spike a little bit, probably going the static third and maybe even going. Well, what would you prefer second then at that point?
I wouldn't go static at all. I think I would just go Kraken into IE into like lifesteal or LDR. I think is the correct build, but she she doesn't really need the wave clear. Like a champion like Zeri or Vayne, yeah, they probably need a little bit of help in the wave clear department if that's the argument, is you're buying it for tempo. Jinx doesn't really have that problem. Jinx just gets a lot of attack speed from her passive from autoing, and then she also has her rockets that do a lot of AoE damage, so she doesn't really need it, but
Completely understood.
Semantics.
It's all about
build whatever items make you happy at the end of the day, right? Even if they're terrible.
Play the game, how you want to play it. Have fun. At least to the absolute best of your ability. Have fun. Alright, so we got a little bit of posturing for the fight around Dragon here. FF15 definitely wants to try to get this last one, but they don't want to allow it here. Kraken doesn't want to allow it here, and they managed to keep them out. Jinx now feeling really hyperactive, wanting to use that excitedness to try to go ahead and get something done. TP came out from Hailstorm. Now under the turret, it's going to be Smoothie going ahead trying to fight him. Ornhorn called in. Ults being used everywhere. Every single ult, I believe, was just used between both teams, and now we're seeing a whole lot of killing going on as Vi's able to secure the first kill of the entire extended fight. Tack Alley now looking like the second is going to go down. Double kill for the Vi. Barely able to get him as both go down up in the top side. Both top laners able to kill each other. Astros now going to be taken out by Cobra Panda on the Senna, and they're continuing to chase down. And instead of continuing to chase on to more members, knowing that 4 of them are dead, this is the Baron.
We're scrapping. FF15 is winning the scraps, but we are scrapping.
This was absolutely insane. I like seeing that FF15 play these team fights very well. Even when someone like the CC, certain things don't land, they're able to find other avenues of making things work, and I really do like that from this team.
Yeah, I think FF15's comp's a bit easier to play, or a bit easier to pilot. They have a lot more go buttons. They like point and click CC from Vi Maokai. You have follow up from Morgana. Senna just does a lot of damage at this point in the game on 3 items with support Bloodsong. So
let me pose you a question, Deity. Is it because it's an easy comp to beat, it's easy to win? Or is it also the fact that because it's an easy comp to pilot, is it also easy to beat for the side of Kraken Slayers here? Like, does that make sense? Like,
it easy as in there's less margin for error is what I mean by easy. So like, like you can miss volley barrels, you can miss Galio taunts. Like it's not guaranteed CC. It's like people can dodge it, people can flash out of the way, you can waste the CC. With Maokai W and Vi R, you can't really miss it. You just press the button and then it lands. So that's what I mean. Is like when everything is easier to execute, there's not as much room for error, and then fights are easier to play most of the time.
I like that. I like that thought. Just like really just maximizing what you have. And hold on now. Never mind. Tack Alley just said nope. And instead we get the Maokai ulti used. Not going to really amount to anything as the Senna ulti also gets used here in the middle of this. Ornhorn called in. Now they see those 2 ultis down. They want to fight. Tack Alley goes in, able to shut down. Actually, it's Astros that gets that kill. They're returning the fight now as Kraken Slayer's getting so many on them. The Killer Concord able to take out the Vi. Double kill going right over to the Gwen, even though Vintage able to take a kill out on the backside of that fight, taking out Tack Alley. But this Jinx, so excited and so much damage coming out from the Rockets. Critter now able to take that kill for themselves. Vintage getting another in that fight. but it's gonna be now tanking that turret, trying to get away. But Ventage, are you gonna be able to do it? Yes, he does. With just a sliver of HP, the Jinx doesn't chase any further, even with Hailstrom still continuing to tank that turret like a mad lad. Insane fight from Kraken Slayers right there.
Yeah, it was a really good combo of the Ornhorn, the Volley Bear ult, and then the Gallia ult. Big engage. Those are the fights that Kraken Slayers really want to take, are the ones where they can get all of their wombos down, so that the Jinx can kind of just free fire, doesn't have to worry about getting Gwen or Vide in the back line, and can just free fire.
I want to know who was calling for that fight right there, because that was a damn good call, especially seeing that the Maokai and the Senna ultis were both used in that fight right before that was even done. So honestly, like that was just a damn good call. So whoever made that call in that fight, whether it was Hailstrom or Tac Alley, because I feel like it was one of those two, considering the Ornhorn came in from the side out of nowhere. I would suspect it was one of those two. So yeah, like definitely props to them. That was big. But here we do see that the Drake is up in about 35 seconds. Both teams knowing that this is an extremely important Drake. This could be the Infernal Soul for the side of FF15 if they're able to secure this. Or it could mean a soul point fight for the side of Kraken Slayers if they're able to secure it for themselves. Galio taunts used after he was already snared up by Ventage. And we are now seeing 3 members from the side of Kraken Slayers with the 4th starting to make their way down in Critter and now Astros here. 5 members now, all here trying to go ahead and stop the 4 members from doing the Drake as Vi is slowly making their way down.
Yeah, as we all know, Hailstrom makes all the calls for this team, makes all the draft decisions. Everything is Hailstrom's decision.
Maokai ulti used. Now the Maokai ult is down. Hailstrom feeling the need to use that ulti. Senna ult come out from Cobra Panda, but it's not going to be enough to be able to save out Vengeance. Vlad is able to take him out. Shut down going over to the Vlad, but the shutdown going over to Cobra Panda as well. Vlad getting taken out, but Critter on the back line go ahead and trying to shred up some damage. But Smoothie able to take out Kumquat, and now it's going to be a little bit more as he takes out the Jinx in the back line. And Smoothie looking so damn good over there. Tac Alley is able to take out Senna, but the triple kill coming up for the top lane Gwen, and now having a flash away. Hailstrom looking to run away, gets the slow, but it's not gonna mean that he can turn in on him as KB and Smoothie are both still alive. With that triple kill, it's gonna be the winning fight for FF15, and it's looking like the soul.
It is the issue of, or it is one of the perks of having a comp with 4 damage dealers on it. Is it's not always clear which one you should be focusing. Obviously, like most comps are gonna, or most teams are gonna prioritize killing the AD carry. So like prioritize killing the Senna, or possibly prioritize peeling like the Vi off of the carry. One of those, but Gwen being immune is a hard champion to target. It's a hard champion to focus, so usually Gwen can either command a lot of respect because you can't target her, or she will just be able to run around and not take the first aggro, and so she'll be able to just kind of clean up because she does insane amounts of damage.
Honestly, I like seeing this Gwen. It's something that I don't ever really see, like what it looks like when it gets turned on or when you turn it up. But like right now, Smoothie probably really feeling himself. That Gwen looking damn good again in that tank fight, and that triple kill definitely being something big to boost up the morale. I do like seeing from Vengeance here just trying to get that poke down onto the enemy team. That Morgana pull actually can do a lot of damage when it just sits on someone, especially on a tank.
Yeah, I mean, with Morgana building pretty much just full damage items, it does end up starting to hurt if you ignore the pool.
Morgana getting a flank from the back there, not able to land the Q onto anybody, gets a little bit of cooldown. But now the members of Kraken Slayers are looking to pull down, gets the ult onto the Jinx. Vi able to take out Critter. That's the big damage dealer for the side of Kraken Slayers. And now the rest of the team is looking like they're gonna go down too. Astros taking on the half health, able to take into the Zonias, but not gonna be able to mean anything as Smoothie's able to take that kill. Cobra Panda now gonna take out Tac Alley. That's 3 members down for the side of Kraken Slayers, while none are all still, while everyone is still alive on the side of FF15. They get the soul, and now they're trying to get the double buffed up. They want to take this Baron.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see the cracks through Kraken Slayer's the itemization on the carries is starting to become prevalent, where we don't have a death cap on Vladimir. Vladimir's not able to one-shot pretty much anyone on this team. They have too much healing. They have like Gwen healing. They have Senna healing, Vi healing off of Sundered Sky, Morgana Black Shields. It's just impossible for him to one-shot anyone since he does not have his like death cap and void staff or crit bloom, whatnot. They might just do a death push and honestly end here. They have the Baron Wave. They have the...
They do have the potential, but you don't want to let your carries run down too low right now. Able to barely escape with his life, but KB Jelly might be the first to go, and they're trying to return this fight. He's gonna lose his life, but it does mean the rest of the members might be able to get away. Vi, barely having any HP left, wants to try to run away from this. Jinx Rocket is not up, so they don't have to worry about that danger, but definitely want to make sure that your team can get away. Bentage is still, though, very far behind the rest of his team, able to land that. Senna ulti comes out, lands a little damage onto the Volibear, but not gonna be really necessarily needed to save Bentage. But thank you for being a good teammate there, Covert, just to make sure your mid laner can get out alive.
Yeah, Critter and attack ally are too low for us to keep pushing, I think. And we also have Baron minions and super minions, so I don't think there's anything they can really capitalize off of this. There's no neutrals up yet. So they're just going to opt to take the jungle camps and take KB's life.
Even so, this game doesn't feel like it's far out of Kraken Slayer's hands to win. Even with the gold leads being about 5k different, they do have Infernal Soul and stuff. It doesn't feel like it's too far off from, like, honestly, Kraken Slayers at this point, I feel like just need one really good team fight to be able to get the final push in. Especially 38 minutes in, if they can get a really good team fight like they did have about maybe 5 minutes ago in the mid lane, if they can get something like that to happen again, where they can at least take out 3 members, it's going to be very difficult for FF15 to be able to fight to fend that off. But it's a matter of if they can even get onto the targets that they need.
Yeah, we just see the Volibear at this point hasn't really been able to get any gold.
Ornhorn called. Ornhorn missed. The Salt now able to turn around onto Astros. Vlad ultimate used. Galio ultimate used. So many people coming in now. The Salt re-engaging. Jinx ultimate came out from the top, but Astros now able to take out the Salt. This is the fight that they needed. KB Jelly going to be taken out by the Critter, and now Kumquat going right back in. Senna ulti dropped on, not going to be able to be used, but now Senna looking on to Critter, able to take him out. Killer Kumquat now using Justice Punch to try to get out. Double kill for the Senna, triple kill for the Senna, and now she's just going to want to continue to help with these Baron minions pushing down the lane. But we do see Smoothie up in that top side. All they needed was a distraction, and he goes to the top and is able to take the game. Game 1 going over to FF15.
Yep, I think just FF15 just had I think easier to execute comp. They were just kind of able to pretty much control, delete Critter in every fight, and the Vladimir wasn't able to get the items that I feel like he probably needed in order to one-shot the carries that game. So Volibear and Ornn start falling off later. Seeing a nice screen grab of an earlier series.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that might be a little different there.
I didn't know HYG was playing. Sheesh.
Hang on a second.
There we go.
He's like, I got you guys.
I thought I updated it. This is my bad.
All right. Hailstorm's drunk. It's fine.
I'm not. What do you mean?
Yeah.
But definitely some damn good game, some damn good League of Legends played right there. That was a hell of a banger to me. I thought that was a lot of fun. It was 2 teams that I personally consider to be extremely even against one another, even with some of their mismatches. It was still a very even game in general, and there was no point in time where both teams didn't feel like they could have taken it from one another. And I think that's honestly, they should feel good about that, especially from Kraken Slayers being one and one currently in this in the league, but for this season, but then 2 going into now a game 2, knowing damn well that they have the affinity for winning game 2s all the time. I think this is still a pretty good look because, again, even with like some of the mixed matches, some of the items, itemizations that we talked about, the game still felt like Kraken Slayers could have taken it. And even at that ending team fight, it still felt like it could have turned around if certain things didn't go the way they did, like the Ornhorn not being used or not being used properly, stuff like that. So I don't think that this is like, hey, you guys need to revamp anything. It's more like maybe just change like the item order and certain other stuff, and that could have been a completely different game.
Yeah, I think taking away like the Senna from Covert might be wise to do, because I know Covert and KB love that Senna like Senna plus X combo. KB is KB is someone who plays like multiple different roles, so he's fine at playing like the farming champions, like he can play the Maokai or whatever melee champion he decides to play that game. I know they had like a Rammus Senna lane earlier in the season. Whatever combo they're feeling that day. KB can play those kinds of champions with and Covert's a really proficient Senna player. So I would like to see that either taken or possibly picked away if Kraken Slayers play it at all. If they don't, I would probably like to see that removed instead of, I don't know, maybe not ban like the Nocturne or something in that series, because his MF is also very good. But yeah, I think the Senna combo is very, very good for FF15 and something they're very comfortable with, it seems like.
I strangely feel like the Senna is actually more of a problem than what MF would prove to be. So, if anything, I agree. Taking away that Senna and forcing them onto something else would definitely be a good avenue for Kraken Slayers to go towards.
I mean, yeah, if we feel like the Morgue, if we feel like Astros can't play anything into the Morgue that can punish it, then I can see wanting to take the Morgana away. That's, I can understand not if you feel like nothing you play into it's fine. I feel like the Vladimir that game was good in the Morgana and was doing work against the Morgana. Yeah, his MF's very good. I feel like the Vladimir was doing fine into the Morgana in practice. It was just I think it was a combo of like the Vladimir never fully scaled because he did not buy death cap, which I feel like you kind of need death cap on Vladimir. And then to get to your like late game fantasy of just like you're just flying everywhere, one shotting people. But
also for just a quick shout out, we actually scrimmed with FF15 the same week. And went 1-1 for the games we got in. So technically we're 0-1, but really we were 1-2. We did a best of 5
okay.
this week.
I see.
So if we include the scrims, we're 1-2 right now. For the real funds.
If Astros had Porofessor, you probably would have built Storm Surge. Let's be real. That I don't think that would have been better, Ray. But maybe the Porofessor build for Vlad is actually a good build. Who knows?
I'm realizing how much I hate Professor now.
Yeah.
Ready to jump in the draft.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah, whatever. Oh, let's go. Let's go. This time we got the two sides switched as Kraken Slayer is now taking on red side, FF15 taking on that blue side. And we're gonna just start getting right into these bans here. And so far we see the Windshitter brothers both banned out from the side of FF15. Do not want to be able to give out Yasuo or Yon, and we do see Kraken Slayers opting to ban out Vi and Lilia. They don't want that point and click immediate CC onto the AD carry being possible. So instead, they decided to say, get rid of Vi and Urgot once again being banned from the side of from FF15 towards Kraken Slayers because you don't want Hailstrom on that raid boss, and the Morgana this time being also
you do want
banned.
Hailstorm on it. You don't want to ban it. Come on now.
Yeah. So we left up Morgana, or I mean not Morgana. We left up Misfortune also for FF15. FF15 opting to do the same bans. First pick Volibear again, just for the opposite side. So highly contested pick here.
I don't remember this, but yep, already. Okay, so this is what I want to see. I was gonna say I want to see something like a Mumu Vigar MF. I know it sounds crazy.
Vigar MF. Yeah.
Listen,
I mean, that's You can do it.
It's something. I feel like for Bentage, because it's either going to be the Xerath, Ziggs, or Vigar, and then but then look at that right there, Amumu, Maokai. That's already like a big wombo combo, and if they do decide to go for the MF this time, that's already setting them up for pretty decent team fighting success at the very least.
Critter, we did decide to just redo the whole thing, so we're streaming all the games. We feel like it's better if it's all in one section.
Yep, we're doing all 3 games.
Yes, sir. I don't
So
even because
we gotta get the full story here. We're not time skipping, but okay, we do have MF. So yeah, MF Leona coming out for FF15. So that's Covert on his tried and true. Did not. We felt like the Vi was possibly a bigger issue than the Misfortune this game. And then we're
Hardware,
going
you
with
get 30
Smolder.
days of love, and you know you can have 60 days of love because I just love you that much, my friend.
Big.
here we go. The
Back for the
Smolder
draft.
pick.
All right, so we're looking like a Merc Treads, a 5 Merc Treads game right now for FF15 versus Kraken Slayers. Lots of crowd control here.
I don't know how I feel about Smolder, at least in this particular realm, especially considering that after the nerf that Smolder has to basically unlock itself as a champion. But these scaling picks definitely have been a big pick for them. And there we go, Kraken Slayers ends up banning the Vigar and Olaf. And then we see Garen and Mordekaiser also banned for FF15. So they again going right towards that top laner. They don't want Hailstorm on anything potentially strong for himself. And here it is, the Trundle.
Couldn't be anything
we gotta
strong.
we gotta ban 10 Juggernauts versus Hailstrom. Can't
Ban
let him
them
play.
all.
Can't let him play the Juggernaut champs. A little scary. And then Kraken Slayer, shout out to Mako, did ban the Vagar. Did ban that. We're getting a Kennen top game from Smoothie. It's pretty good. So we're leaning into that MF Wombo combo a little bit more. And what are we picking for the mid lane?
I would like to see like Xerath or maybe Zig. Well, there we go.
It is the Xerath. So we are leaning into very heavy magic damage and then just going for the MF ult to really cover your physical damage. Obviously, Volibear doing slight physical damage, but most of it's going to fall on this Misfortune.
This is the one time I'm actually gonna say that Collector is gonna seem like a good item. I mean, in general for anybody who builds lethality, but for MF in particular, because she's gonna want to really be able to pick off some of those little stragglers, and that'll at least make it just that tiny bit easier. Especially with some of these tankier units on the side of them with a Moo, Maokai, and Trundle. So for her, like, yeah, it's gonna be really dependent on like how well placed of an ulti she gets, how easily can she be able. They're really putting the back. FF15 is really putting the team on MS back in a sense.
Yeah, I think it's honestly pretty hard for them. Like, I'm gonna lean towards Kraken for this draft just because I think it's gonna be hard for the Misfortune to actually position to ultimate. There's just a lot of wild CC that's gonna fly out. Like, there's gonna be Maokai ult, there's gonna be Trundle Pillar that can pretty easily just stop the Misfortune from ulting. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a little harder for Covert to actually to play it if unless they just unless we save the MF ult for last, where we have a really strong Kennen or something that's able to just kind of fly in first and absorb a lot of the cooldowns.
Yep, and then
of Kraken Slayers.
And then you also put Hailstrom on one of the strongest split pushers in the game. So now you have between trying to choose whether it's going to be a lot of. I feel like Kraken Slayers right now is going for a lot of like splitting up the side of FF15, and that strategy might end up working very well for them. It just seems like that's the one thing that's going to work out very well for them is being able to split the team constantly.
FF15 definitely should win. I feel like they have 3 winning lanes, so I would like to see the Volibear go invade the Amumu on repeat because all 3 lanes should be able to provide, counter assistance there. I think we can My bet would be I would assume it, unless FF15 are just able to run over the game, Kraken Slayer should win it. But I mean, FF15 could possibly run over the early game with their 3 winning lanes, and then
Yeah,
it
my
could
vote for
be
this one is Kraken
could
Slayers
be
as well.
could be lights out. But yeah.
The likelihood, not sure, but I honestly I'm giving it like you know what? I'll just say the odds. I'm giving it like a 60-40 Kraken Slayer.
Yeah, I do think the Trundle will hurt FF15 a little bit, just because they're gonna probably have to keep the cannon in that side lane for the Trundle, whereas the early game, cannon wins versus the Trundle, but later in the game, once Trundle gets his lifesteal, it is pretty hard for the cannon to really do damage to the Trundle by himself. He can kind of just hit the towers and not really worry about anything, as long as cannon doesn't just ult the wave.
Alrighty, if that's the case, I think we're ready to get right into this game too. And I think right now our audience is more ready than we are. So I think let's go ahead and go straight into game 2 of FF15 versus Kraken Slayer.
I mean, we can gamble right now, right? If you want, we could put real monies on this game if you want. I'm down if you are.
I mean,
I'm backing the Trundle.
Mines was also down to toss down the money.
Yeah,
so
yeah. If we want to, if we want to bet, if whoever, okay, so if FF15 win this game, we'll whoever then we'll pay the 15 subs, and then if if Kraken win, you guys will pay 15 subs.
I'll take 15 subs on Kraken Slayer. Simply because I believe in my Trundle.
Ray is thinking
it's
about
like a bad bet. I don't know. They have a really strong early game. I think it could. I think they could definitely just run over. Yeah, I would like to see this ult though invade a ton this game. I feel like it's really good. I feel like we can't really do anything into Volibear running in his jungle and fighting him.
Ray's trying to cheat now. He's trying to pull up the website. Awkward.
This is live, of course. Just make sure to direct image never focused mid.
That's right. I just know I can believe in both Mines and Ray to come through with their gifted subs after this game, no matter what happens.
The way you know it's live is Hailstorm's here to commentate his own gameplay.
True.
That's how you know it's live. All right, Hailstorm. So let's make sure we get all of the 6 of these minions here. All right, let's make sure we hit all 6 of them.
I might miss a couple. You never know.
Okay.
He's too distracted right now. He's trying to cast and play the game. So
you guys keep talking to me when I'm trying to play.
Yeah, my bad. Why do
you guys think he's always silent?
Yeah, Hailstorm's got to focus up for this gun.
Yeah, so I missed one. I'm washed.
Back to the drawing board. You got to go back now. Sorry, guys. Not much is really happening.
Yeah. As we can see, like I said, looks as though we have lanes that are hard to win. Astros is playing rather aggressive into benchage though.
I like to see that though. A little aggression goes a long way, at least to stop yourself from being completely bored in the lanes.
Astros, yeah, we fixed most of our runes, so we don't have the Dark Harvest for Astros this game. We don't have the Conqueror for Killer Kumquat. So we did fix our runes. Probably the only reason game 1 was lost.
That would be really funny. That's all the reasoning that they need now. Yep. It's like, okay, Vlad's on phase rush. We win, everyone.
Yep. Support doesn't have Conqueror. Big. When KB's in the game, we're always cooking. I'm sure he'll be able to have a fun build for us this game.
He's going to keep playing something so different every single game until you guys finally stop banning his Poppy.
I'm sad we don't see the press the attack Leona with Bloodsong. Well, it could be Bloodsong. We don't know yet, but I'm sad we don't have the press the attack Leona.
PTA
would have liked to see it.
I haven't seen that in years. Oh man, the gank up from Tack Alley towards that top side. Oh, they actually did. Oh, wow, that's right. They actually didn't ban Poppy this time around. Engage onto the Smolder, gets a little bit under the turret. The Salt able to get that little bit of damage on the critter.
KB scared. KB scared of playing Poppy.
Man, they said no Poppy bans. They're
Team
not
said
afraid of the
no.
Poppy.
See, KB, that's why you got to run the draft lull so that you can tell your team yes.
You gotta just tell them I'm doing what I want. And if what I want is to play Poppy, I'm gonna play it. You gotta let them know, man. Oh man, caught him right in the middle of the recall. Engages right onto Critter. Ignite dropped and they're going in a little bit more. Not able to get that little bit of extra damage on him, but the Ignite was dropped by Killer Kumquat to get him to disengage.
Yeah, overall we dropped quite a bit of sums to just stop his back there, but does appear as Covert might have a freeze or he might just be hard shoving it. It's hard to tell. We got this big wave we're looking at top lane. Big for Smoothie. Love that for him.
I like seeing this. See, he picked something interesting into the top side. It's actually working pretty decently well. Um, I'm waiting to see what the first big like team fight's gonna look like because the between once everyone hits 6 on the side of FF15, that's gonna be huge to just have everything just get dropped. All Tack Alley trying to take the grubs ends up getting one of them, but now the Salt was able to take another. But red team being at actually end up being the Kraken Slayers are able to take that 2 of them for themselves and walk out alive. No extra fight needed.
Yeah, Vladimir is getting the push off on Vintage really well. Ooh, okay.
Oh, that's a lot of damage, Astros.
Not
I
able to
believe.
get the kill there, but did go flash for flash and cause Vintage to back. He does have TP.
Oh, hold on. Leona just engages right onto the middle. Killer Kumquat, one level above. Not going to be able to get anything else. I like seeing these scraps in the bot lane. It definitely seems like they're trying to at least push their advantage, especially with Smolder here. If you can stop Smolder from stacking as much, then it becomes a little bit easier to deal with later on in the game.
Yeah, I think Astros just thought that was lethal, but unfortunately just wasn't quite like the damage was a little bit
It
short.
was like an auto off. Like if he weaved an auto in before that, that possibly could have been the extra damage needed. Bentage going ahead and using his ultimate as we then catch a fight up in the top side, and it's going right back to bot lane once again. Oh, Killer and Tag Alley, both very, very low. So this Drake is looking like the first one's going right over to FF15 to be expected. They did this last game where they really wanted to start the Drake stacking immediately.
Yeah, I mean it should be in FF15 should be in the driver's seat when it comes to getting objectives. It just have the better early game comp for it. Even though Astros is up a good 20 CS, it will even out a little more once Bentage collects this wave, but he is playing high tempo on the Vladimir.
And blue team once again able to take the first Drake as they were able to do in the first game. As you mentioned, they do have the much better early game composition that does allow them to be able to push into this. They do have the winning lanes and so on and so forth. So at least they are able to make something happen for themselves and stay a little bit ahead.
Yeah, and we also do have a huge like about 40 CS deficit for the 80 carries right now. So Covert and KB are playing well to deny Critter his early stacking on the Smolder.
Oh man, I didn't even realize that. A 40 CS
Mm-hmm.
deficit right now in this bot lane. That is absolutely absurd to see. Very well played by Covert. And to look at the call stack difference, even. Man, this is not
Yeah,
fun. And we do
they're
see the Salt is here. He's making his presence somewhat known. There is no vision for the side of Kraken Slayer's bot lane, so they don't know that he is there. And instead of wasting any more time, he decides to go right back to the jungle again.
Yeah, I mean what they should do here is they should be just slow pushing into volley bear dive right now. So they should It seems like they're calling over Salt. They're gonna try to dive this Smolder and make sure he doesn't get any of these minions. Yep, they're gonna have to give up a lot of these minions here. Salt is playing Mumu on the other side of the map, so there's no counterplay to this. Astros is beginning to walk over. So they are gonna have to slowly back off and give some of the CS to Smolder, but they did stop a few CS from happening.
I mean, being just about halfway to a Flame Horizon right now, all in only 10 minutes into the game, that's actually pretty big to see from the side. And again, Smolder at the current point in the game, at least in its current state, needs to really stack up these stacks to be able to get somewhere. So if you stop that from happening for a much longer period of time, it becomes harder and harder for the side of Kraken Slayers to really turn up.
Yep, we're just taking grubs as a family, so they will get 5 grubs here, which is what you need for the little voidling to spawn. Only 1, not 2, but it's still pretty good to get 5 grubs.
They end up getting 5, but I don't think I don't see FF15 as one of the teams that really prioritizes grubs as much. And it was apparent in the last game as I think all 6 grubs ended up going over to the side of Kraken Slayers last game. So it doesn't seem like they really put as much emphasis on it. They attempted to make some type of emphasis from them getting all 6. Oh, flash used by Critter there, but now you do have your Amumu here to try to help. Able to dodge out on the first bandage toss, but now we do have the ultimate being dropped. The Salt having to use the ultimate from the volleyball, but the first blood going over to the support for Killer Kumquat as AG Smoothie is going to be able to come into the middle of them. Double kill right over to Smoothie, and we do see the vintage artillery being used from the backside, but Astros able to take out the enemy support, and it's going to be a little bit more damage dropped as Benches is now able to make his way over to this fight. It's going to be 2 for 2 in that side. First blood going over to the side of Kraken Slayers, but it still ends up being an overall even fight and an overall even game.
Yeah, it was a good teleport for Smoothie. Unfortunately, he had a giant wave that crashed into his turret, so he did miss a hand, probably at least 1.5 waves on that TP, but he did get 2 kills for his trouble, so overall not too bad. But yeah, he did miss some farm there.
And now we do see the discrepancy continue to grow in this bot lane as we see the 50 CS lead picked up by the MF here. Not sure how many stacks the Smolder is sitting on, but I don't imagine it's a whole lot as they only have 50 farm at 11 minutes. Oh, there we go. Just needs one more to get the stun off. We do see Hailstorm chasing him down, but the Salt is now here. Stun landed. Hailstorm going to be taking so much damage. The Salt able to get that kill for themselves up in that top side with a little help from the top laner. Good being at the right place at the right time, able to help and secure that gank. But now KB Jelly gonna end up having to use the W to get a little bit extra resistances. Gets away from a failed gank up in that bot side.
Yep, we are almost at Flame Horizon for ADCs right now. We are slowly getting there. Yeah, ever so closer. Covert doing really good job on farming this game and freezing waves so that the Smolder cannot stack and cannot farm. Which is the best way to punish that champion is just to try to remove him from the early game by setting up jungle dives and whatnot.
Might use to go ahead and secure the Scuttlecraft for the side of FF15 now. Artillery fire used by Benches to be able to secure some damage onto Killer Conquat, and the Killer Conquat going to be able to use the ultimate, but not going to be enough as the Maokai gets taken out by the Volibear. The Salt now looking for another member to go ahead and try to attempt to kill, going ahead to make sure they can secure this Drake without any slip-ups. Amumu now hovering behind the Drake wall, gonna just go ahead go towards his blue buff and instead just walk away. Another Drake secured for FF15.
Yeah, doing a good job just pushing their early game bot lane advantage into getting these dragons. Is going to be I would say a dragon soul win con for FF15 in this game.
This time we get the Chemtech Drake instead of it being the Infernal Drake. Infernal Drake now. That was a pretty powerful one for them, especially with some of the poke that they had in the last composition. But this time around, it's looking like Chemtech is gonna be the actually for their team might actually still end up being pretty good. Oh, here we go. Now we got a little 1v1 going on the top side. Misses the Q to try to get the stun onto Hailstorm and get that little bit of extra damage from Smoothie. But as long as Hailstorm backed off him, I think he's not too worried. Actually, you want to definitely back off. Tack Alley is here, ready and waiting for you, Smoothie. So you don't want to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. You actually have 3 members on you. And right now, ult going to have to be used, but it's not going to end up being enough to shut down going right over to Astros.
It was a good dive by Kraken Stars. I would say on the Chemtech Drake, I would say for their team, I don't think it's very good. Unfortunately, the soul is not super useful because they don't really have that many like bruisery champions, or any like they don't really have much healing or shielding. The only one it's really good for is the Volley Bear. The rest of them, it gives them some tenacity, but
Oh man, hold on.
yeah.
Ventage, good job able to get that kill for yourself in this game. While the Salt was able to help with that too. But yeah, you're right. There's not a whole lot of shielding, healing, anything that's really going on that's going to benefit from them being able to take this. They almost managed to land that right onto them, clearing out that wave and getting some decent damage down, but not going to be enough to really scare them off or force them to back. Oh, Yumu's activated, trying to run away. They do see the enemy jungler coming down that way. So this is actually going to be the Rift Tail secure for FF15. FF15 playing very well here, securing these objectives, getting themselves a very decently well done early game will now translate themselves into this mid game as we start looking into that 15 to 20 minute mark. As long as they keep this up, the game is probably in their hands.
Yeah, they have a comfortable, 2.5k gold lead for them right now. Most of that, I would assume, is going to be on the 80 carry.
Probably at this point. Maybe a little bit more is going to be going towards this top side. As Hailstrom once again ganged up on by the jungler and top laner. HYG Smoothie going to be able to secure that kill for themselves. And now going to be pushing into this top lane a little bit more.
Yeah, we are just bullying Hailstrom on repeat.
Let's just be careful. I don't know if I'm the person to talk, but I know that the Trundles bully them a little bit. They're another one of those like 0-4, 0-5 champions. It's gonna be a massive power spike, and then all of a sudden they're not gonna know what to do with them. So we gotta give it
Yeah,
a little
again,
time.
Trundle's gonna want to side lane a lot this game, and FF15 are gonna look to team fight majority. So Trundle should be able to be fine once they start putting more focus towards the other side of the map. But for right now, it is tough when you are just getting completely hard focused because your bot lane is just kind of solo winning.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that like Critter is not allowing Covert to just completely run them over in this lane and just trying to stack, trying to do everything they can. But I can see where this MF can be an issue with how much damage they can do, how much everything, just in general, like how much it actually ends up countering Smolder. And in Smolder, this early game is very apparently different in comparison to like release Smolder. It definitely does not feel the same.
I mean, Critter is doing well in the sense that he's not dying a
Right.
lot. So he's doing what he can. Unfortunately, just because of the state of the lane, if he gets hit by one Leona ability, he's probably just dead. So he has to be really careful of that. And he has been doing well on doing that. Unfortunately, that just results in him losing CS.
The Salt now looking to attack Tack Alley, who's in his jungle. Bent is now able to use the artillery fire, not going to be able to land anything. Well, land something, but not going to really mean any meaningful damage. Now, Hailstrom having to use, or not Hailstrom, but the ult now being used by, actually, yeah, both of them to try to get away. Smoothie needing to get himself away from this Trundle, but it's just going to be, now Trundle's starting to look like a little bit of a problem. Attack Alley, able to lay in the bandage toss right on the KB Jelly. KB Jelly, though, kind of tanky, not going to be able to do a whole lot. The Salt now here trying to make something happen. We do see Smoothly just literally beating down the turret while he's under it, and now he's just beating you up, trying to run away, Smoothly. Please try to run. The little hamster can't get away from this big old troll, and he beats him with the bonk of the hammer, and that's going to be Hailstorm taking a solo dolo after taking the turret up in that top side. This is what I mean by be careful of that Trundle. But here's the continued Drake stacking from the side of FF15. Even though they lose that topside member, they are still able to contest these Drakes. They are still up ahead when it comes to the gold department. They do engage. Maokai ultimate used, but the unstoppable ult coming out from the Salt, caught in between three members, gonna end up getting him killed. No, he turns around. Bandage toss lands, shut down, as there was also the shutdown up on the top side as MF ended up getting slain by Astros. And Astros now getting that triple kill. He ends up taking three members from the side of FF15. This completely turned around for the side of Kraken Slayers. The Drake now also going to them too.
Yeah, Vladimir is just kind of able to run around and kill everyone on the side of FF15, and then obviously the Volley Bear not able to kill the Smolder with two people sitting on him. Yeah, it was a good fight from Kraken to turn that around. So
I'm honestly very proud of them. Smoothie gonna try to get a little bit more damage onto them. Able to take a whole lot, but now it's looking like this is Kraken Slayer's game. They're trying to take over a lot as the gold lead just balloons out of nowhere to nearly 2K. Astros, you weren't shopping there, but you're definitely got to be careful. This MF still does a lot of damage. One or two more autos right there could have been the collector proc and possibly been the life of Astros, and that would have been a big shutdown going over to MF, and that's the last thing you want to try to give up.
are looking to collapse on Hailstorm right here, but he is a fast troll.
Yeah,
But is
it's a
he
little
fast
hard
enough?
The Leona
Yes, he is.
ulti? Yeah, he's good. You're in his domain now.
He's a fast troll. He bought the Merc Treads. He passed the assignment.
I mean, I would sure hope he was looking into Merc Treads after, you're going up against Kennen, you got Voli, you got the Zerath. I would sure hope you're looking at it and being like, yeah, this is definitely a Merc Treads game.
Yeah, we got Astros looking pretty large on the Vladimir, 5-0. So Critter hasn't died yet. Does have obviously the CS deficit we've mentioned, but he is still, in the game, relatively speaking.
Right, a little bit behind, but now this Trundle is starting to look like a problem.
Trundle still has ultimate. Smoothie obviously doesn't have his. Once if he gets him with another pillar, it could be hard for Smoothie to get out.
Yeah. Well, we got the ult use, called down Covert Panda now being chased down by Astros. Vlad ultimate use gonna be just enough. Astros now dominating for the side of Kraken Slayers as he's able to go ahead and take out the kills. Critter now able to get that stack and get onto KB Jelly. Another kill going over to the Smolder. Oh, there we go. What you talked about. Once he gets caught by that one more pillar, can't flash, can't get away, no ult to stun him up. That's gonna be Hailstorm now taking that kill up in the top side solo for himself.
Yep, we did go the Storm Surge item, unfortunately. Not going to be super good against the Trundle. You're not really going to be able to burst that guy really quickly.
And so now instead of trying to gang up on him, but Trundle just drops the pillar as the rest of the team for Kraken Slayers is now just sitting here doing this Baron. Nobody else is able to contest them, so this is going to look like a 22-minute Baron for the side of Kraken Slayers. Oh man, they want to chase down Astros though. Somebody really wants that shutdown gold on them. TP coming in from Smoothie. Pool is down. Is that going to be it? 1,000 gold going right over to the top laner. Hold on, are we going to get some more kills? They're still chasing down. They really want to make sure that no one can get away with these Barons. At least that was a really big shutdown, though, going over to Smoothie. I would have very much rather seen it go to MF if possible. But right for what it is, though, MF does have that very big CS lead. So they're making that work for him. Smoothie needing a little bit extra gold in the pocket. Artillery fire coming out from Xerath. Ultimate used by the volley. Big wombo combo from both sides there. As we see the MF now able to draw up 2 kills for themselves and a big old double kill onto the support and the jungler there. That's actually going to be a very big move now into that top side. But all they have to do is now stall it out. Look at the bot side. Look to the bot side though. Look at the map. We literally have a hailstorm beating their base in at this moment as they're trying to go ahead and continue this fight. We do see the 2 members from FF15 able to do something, but it's still Trundle in the bot side here, still going ahead and just claiming these objectives for himself.
Oh, we're
Killer
stopping the backs. Stop the hordes.
Yep, that's all he has to do. He just has to stop both their backs, and there's no way to stop this Trundle. This is the split push of the century. Trundle's going to end up taking this game as long as Killer Kumquat can stop anybody from backing. It ends up being enough. The ace right there, and it ends up being the game. We're going into a game 3.
Yep, Astros and Critter did enough, or killed enough members and threw their bodies into FF15 so that Hailstorm could just slowly but surely just hit those towers and do Trundle things. And yeah. It's the issue of teams who draft solely for team fight and don't know how to deal with split pushers.
And this is something that you just gotta expect completely from Hailstorm. Is like a lot of the champions, like they're expecting him to be able to be on that split push, and they make it very dependent for Kraken. Is on that split push, it's gonna happen. So that's right now for Kraken Slayers, that's 1-1 right now. And as we said, they have the affinity for winning game 2s.
Yeah, I mean, for a moment, it did look like they had 5 members strong in top lane, so it did look like they could for sure just take that push and keep on going. Unfortunately, the Vladimir was able to live long enough not to get completely bursted down, and he was able to kill some people, and then Critter on the Smolder was able to clean up, another kill, and it just got to the point where they, if they would have been able to instantly kill the Vladimir, they might have just been able to run forward and just end the game as 5. I don't think Critter would have been able to stop them, but since Astros was able to get, I think he got one. He might have got 1 or 2, but they were able to just have Hailstorm not move and just keep hitting towers. So yeah, that's a big game too. Ray, I want to see those subs.
Yep, you gotta give it now.
We need the subs from Ray and Mine's Desire. 15 from both, I believe. So
that should be 30 subs. We're looking at 30 subs. Come on, guys. We should see it.
Yeah, I think Trundle took down all your doors. I think Trundle just caved in your house.
The dude literally just beat it in like it was nothing.
He just broke through the front door, broke out the back door, broke the walls, foundations gone. Looked like a
Kraken Slayer. You were betting against? What do you mean?
He said, "Nah, I was betting for if FF15 won, then I would do 15 subs."
Mine's is out here trying to back out of his own bet. Pretty unfortunate to see, honestly. But what kind of adjustments you guys want to see for game number 3?
Just be more prepared for that.
Ban more Juggernauts from Hailstorm. They didn't ban all of them. They still left Trundle up.
What do you mean?
We gotta get rid of the Urgot. We gotta get rid of the Trundle, the Garen, the Mordekaiser. We gotta get rid of all the Juggernaut champions.
That's fair. What do you feel, Malgo?
I'm just feeling that they just need to be more prepared for the split push, because that was something that should not have happened. That beating down into the base and just letting it to freely happen like that should not have been anybody's ability. One person should not have been able to take out a whole base.
Sounds good.
Hey man,
we're
leave the wind shitters.
Draft for game Number 3.
Alrighty, so game number 3 immediately right into the start. It's looking like I see. Yeah, they're not letting. They don't want Yasuo going through that, and that's okay. But we do see the bans. Kraken Slayers, even though they ended up managing to beat it, they don't want that. They do not want that MF going through to wow, I am completely blanking. This is what happens when it's 2 a.m. They don't want this going over to Covert once again, not allowing him to be able to get that big lead of CS that he was able to do in that bot lane and allow them to steamroll and at least maybe make something better happen if they manage to make those adjustments. We do see Yasuo, Yone, and Urgot all banned from the side of FF15 towards not only Hailstrom, but towards that mid laner of Astros. They just want to make sure that they have no possible way of losing, so they stick to the same 3 bans. And we do see the first pick, the most common champion, in my opinion, in our league, being the Maokai as the very first pick. And FF15 responds with the Tom Kench.
Yeah, most likely they go, I would assume, for maybe they go for the Tom Kent Senna, possibly, for FF15. Maybe trying to.
I would like to see it. I would actually like to see that just because of the fact that it's a very
Yep.
standard combination. I think though I did like the Maokai Senna better. I can't even lie. Uh it just seemed I personally think I just like Maokai a little bit more as an exciting pick for the support
I
role.
mean, yeah. I mean, Kraken Sliders did FP the Maokai to, I think, avoid that combo, but yeah, it's a little more defensive rather than offensive, but it's still a classic pairing.
And they're running back
Good.
it again from the last game with the Amumu for the jungle.
I don't love a Moo when we see Tom Kench picked up, because Tom Kench just builds tenacity and then can just eat the sun out of the ultimate. Um, but hey, if we think the Amumu is strong, I think when you have someone like Salt in the jungle versus Tack Ellie, it might be good to have him like on some a jungler that can kind of fist fight, but yeah, we'll see how it works.
And here we get the raid boss in the top side for FF15. They said that you guys are gonna send a raid boss in the top side. We got to counteract it with another one. Here's the
It's
Yorick to go against the Trundle.
it's a smoothie classic. The Yorick top lane. He said, You're playing a split pusher. I'm playing a split pusher. So we're both not gonna group up ever. We're just gonna beat each other up in the top lane while our teams duke it out for objectives. It's gonna be a banger.
I remember the classic joke of York walks into a bar. There are no counters, and it's just really funny to like think about that now. And this is how these two are going to go up against each other. And to finalize the bans, we do see Kraken Slayers picking out the Vigar and the Vi, not allowing either one of those two. And then we see the Vlad this time finally banned, as well as the Smolder being banned from the last game. Zyra now being picked up for that mid lane role, I'm guessing, for Ventage here on FF15 side.
Yeah, I would say there are no counters unless Jax or Irelia are the bartenders. But yeah, absolutely. Zyra mid, interesting pick for Bentage. I think that champion is not a typical champ, but maybe he's trying to throw Astros off guard here. The Vayne for Critter, it's a classic hyper carry Critter champion. So, and then we get the Aurelian Soul. So we're just gonna put the plants into the black hole, and we're just gonna get stacks off of them. Big.
I like this. I'm really leaning towards Kraken Slayers just because the composition itself hasn't really changed too much. It's just now you have the Vayne over a Jinx, and you have the Aurelian Soul instead of Vlad. Most of it though. Everything else is just completely. It's mostly the same for the most part, and I think being it just ends up being a good pick for them. So Kraken Slayer is looking really good right here. Vayne might be the one trouble side for them, but aside from that, it's looking like FF15, the comp that they chose. I'm not sure how to really make do with it, but this one is looking like a much tougher comp to play in comparison to the first two that they've played.
Yeah, I mean the Mordekaiser can I think is fine to take. I guess you can take like the Aurelion Soul or the Vayne out of the fight. Later game, Vayne kind of just beats Mordekaiser in the Death Realm, so it's mainly you just take a Soul out of the fight, I think. But FF15 really don't have a good way of just like dealing with this Vayne pick. They don't really have any point and click CC or anything that can really just stop Vayne from, running around and autoing everything. But yeah, the last pick Mord jungle is also just I think instead of Mord, if we could have had like I don't know. I think the real draft plan here was we probably just pick like maybe Vi on 3 and then like save the Yorick pick for later, but I don't know. No point and click CC from FF15 is making me think Kraken Slayers are gonna win. I think this unless this Vayne just gets really far behind, she's gonna have an easy time just killing everyone. 2K on Kraken Slayers, double or nothing.
I'm gonna say this. Like, I'm looking at both of these. Like, where's the CC from the side of like FF15 in general? So like already right now they're looking this team, and it seems like a draft downgrade, unfortunately, for the side of FF15 in comparison to their first 2 drafts. So we're gonna just have to see how this game plays out for them. But I'm expecting this game might go a little bit quicker, just because of how the draft panned out. It's going to be very hard for FF15 to play into such, 1, meatballs, 2, tanks that can stick onto all your carries, and 3, I don't even see like the easy avenue for Mordekaiser to even start ganking and stuff either. So it just seems like the team itself has a much harder time this time around to work with when it comes to trying to get this victory. Again, they can still win it, but it's gonna be definitely a lot harder than the last 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, if the Senna gets big enough to where the one saving grace is that Senna is pretty good into Vayne in the sense that Senna can outrange her, but I just don't think they have very many good tools for stopping the Vayne from just running at the Senna. Besides, Tom Kench obviously eating the Senna. KB Joey does have Ghost on the Tom Kench, so maybe he's doing some. Maybe he's going for the kidnap shenanigans. We'll see.
That'll be pretty interesting, but that's a whole entire cooldown just to try to get away from the Vayne, So it's yeah.
It's not easy. Kraken Slayers definitely have the more cohesive team comp. It is not a super easy thing for them to play into.
And as we see already, topside Smoothie taking a little bit of a beating from Hillstrom on that Trundle, but it's to be expected in the early game. Yorick doesn't always do very well, at least until about level 3.
Yeah, Trundle definitely wins. I would say, basically until Yorick gets Maiden, and even then it still can be tough. Yorick has to space Trundle a lot, and it starts becoming easier once you have more power in the ghouls. But yeah, the early game definitely should be Trundle favored.
Already getting beaten with the bonks from Trundle there.
Trundle also gets a little healing off of killing the ghouls. So.
Yeah.
Also just not the best direct matchup. I understand the thought of wanting to beat play a split pusher into a split pusher. So there's not the burden of team fight on their side. The only issue with that is we also didn't pick great supporting champions or 4v4 champions for the Yorick to split.
Right, like and that's what I'm saying. Like, just the better 4v4 side is definitely on the side of Kraken Slayers, but right now The Salt is actually up here first to try to get the first initial gank from the as Mordekaiser, able to draw out the flash from Hailstrom, but it doesn't end up being enough to get them the kill there. But we do see now a little bit of fighting going on the bot side that also ends up not really amounting to much else. And yeah, so we're just gonna get a standard slow early game as we have always been.
If we learned anything from Salt, he is a top laner, so at heart, so he ganks top lane a lot. He likes the top lane ganks.
I mean, especially after that Trundle was basically what won the game last time, definitely want to try to make sure that Trundle doesn't become online in any way, shape, or form. Maybe they thought that it might be better to put a little bit more emphasis on the top side, making sure that Smoothie is just not on this potential weak lane, and instead actually is a bit stronger this time. Or like not in the sense like in a weak lane, but like just don't leave him alone. Senna having the flash on, get knocked back over, gonna have to try to get away. First blood going over to the Vayne after a flash into the tumble. Now trying to get away from the Tom Kench, but that's a lot of damage from the Tom Kench. KB Jelly able to take that kill. Killer Kumquat now having to push him away. The Ghost now chasing him down, not gonna land the knockup. Attack Alley is here. KB Jelly knowing to turn away, able to go ahead and kill Critter there at the end. But the first blood, overall going over to the side of Kraken Slayers.
Yeah, so it's good that Vayne got the first blood. Bad that we, you know, Vayne's gonna miss on a lot of that wave. She is gonna get back for some of it, but is a big wave. So like Tom Kench, obviously being the farmer here, does have a decent CS lead at the moment over the Vayne, but she will get probably half the wave somewhat. She'll get all like the casters. But
we got another fight going on here. Smoothie, not gonna be enough. Solo Dolo going over to Hailstrom after that entire gank ended up blowing everything for him. But the Salt is here now, trying to land something onto him. But Hailstrom just wants to fight it here. He is level 6.
Yeah,
he does have
win.
it. Yeah, he used the ult, used the subjugation, ends up taking all of those resistances from the Mordekaiser, now basically being negative, and takes a shit ton of damage now. 2-0 up in that top side.
Yeah, Mordekaiser unfortunately missed the E, so pretty much nothing to get Hailstrom away from him at that point, and Hailstrom just kind of runs him down with the lethal tempo and the ultimate. Not really much that he can do to stop it, unfortunately. This Trundle is now, unfortunately, very big. So, ganking had the opposite intended effect that we wanted here.
Yeah,
sadly.
This is not what we wanted to see. Is a 2, like, and that's the thing. We saw this Trundle manage to win in the game after being 0-3 in the top side. So, what are we gonna expect from this Trundle when they're already looking at 2-0 6 minutes into the game? It's kind of something to be. It just seems something that's a little bit scary right now for both sides. But I definitely do want to say, like, let's not take it out completely yet. We still need York to come online. We still need the center to come online. There's still plenty of avenues for FF15 to win, but it is looking kind of bleak right now, especially once we see that Tiamat pick up from the Trundle.
Yeah, Trundle is the stat check king. He is the troll king, but he's also the stat check king. So when he has more stats than you, it is very miserable to play into. So when Trundle gets ahead, it's very scary. He can pretty much just fight you, you know, turn 2v1s, fight.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage. Bentage able to take the solo kills. Mid lane Zyra, the off pick that people weren't expecting to do well, is already looking pretty damn good. Up in CS, up in a kill now. So Bentage, really well done.
Yeah, Zyra mid isn't a bad pick. It is just a unusual. It's not a normal one, which sometimes can be like for the benefit of the Zyra player, because most like Astros probably just doesn't know what Zyra does, or doesn't know how much damage Zyra can pump out. So it looked like he was greeding a bit to try to, you know, push and get some CS, and Zyra just hits him with an E and just RKOs him.
It's actually pretty interesting. I think a lot of people are deceptive. I forgot who I was playing with a couple of maybe like a week or two ago, but they told me an interesting stat about Zyra is that Zyra is actually the #1 champion in the game. That if you go up against her, more than likely you're up against a main of her. She's one of those kinds of champions. So
Yeah.
usually when you go up against a Zyra, they kind of already know their own damage limits, but most other people don't know what to do against her. So yeah, you're right. It's really hard for somebody who generally plays a lot of mid lane to not go up against a Zyra and not expect her to do, you know, a lot of damage, especially when she's building full damage out the gate.
Yeah, she's a champion that is pretty good at dealing with immobile champions or champions that have to run at you, which...
Hold on, knock back. You got the ulti off onto both of them. Able to get a lot. Covert Panda trying to run away, but that's not going to be enough. One more auto is all that's needed. Critter not going to be able to take that kill, going on 2 kills. And that's not going to be enough this time. KB Jelly not going to be able to take any kills onto them. In the top side, they're kind of chasing Zyra, having to use the ultimate onto Astros in the middle, now trying to run away from this Aurelion Soul, able to get a lot of damage. And the plants end up shredding through Astros on the Aurelion Soul. Now 2-0 with the solo kills in that mid lane for Bentage. And they tried to get Hailstrom, but wasn't enough. He was able to get away from the gank of the Yorick and Mortis.
Yeah, like I was saying, Zyra very good into champions like Aurelion Soul that don't have that much mobility. Very telegraph movements, very easy to just to land your root, throw down your ult, and the plants just kind of do work.
Oh man, these scrubs are going
She
everywhere.
should not have stayed there.
But unfortunately, Smoothie now able to get some revenge kills and kill for himself as he takes out Tact Alley there, and going to be a little more. We do see KB jump in, or not KB, wow, Killer Kumquat jumped in. I'm thinking he's still the Maokai from the other game, but it ends up losing his life to him as Bill Astros coming in to save with Hailstrom, taking these kills and taking names. Double kill going over to Astros for the side of Kraken Slayers. They are still in this game, still looking to fight, but the game is still so damn even. What a bang.
Yeah, this time the first game where FF15 do want the grubs, so they do get all 6 grubs, which is good for them. Unfortunately, we do throw a few kills back onto the A-Soul. We did just get double soul killed by the Zyra. Have a Malignance for the Zyra. Don't love it. I understand that, you know, they want the ult cooldown up more, but ultimately the ult is on Zyra is not the thing that's doing a lot of damage. It's the plants. Yeah, so I don't love it, but it's.
I'm a Leandri's lover myself. I would have preferred Leandri's first, but hold on to the Kumquat. Unfortunately, gonna lose his life to Benches. Benches is now going 3-1 in this. The tight TP coming in, but that's now putting you in the middle of 4 different members. Hailstrom, what are you doing in the middle of all of them? Trying to use the subjugation. Tac Alley gonna be taken out by the Salt over in the bot side, but now you have Covert Panda just jumping on the Critter, shut down as a 4-1-2 Bentage on that Zyra, looking damn good.
Yeah, Hailstrom did use his TP to join that fight, which really is not good since we're leaving the Yorick up top. Just free to get those plates. So Yorick is going to come back in the game. He is going lethality Yorick, which I do think is smart here. I think that's the only really way that you can beat the Trundle is you can kind of kite him and use your ghouls to try to use your ghouls and Maiden to try to do the damage, and you yourself just kind of put space between you, almost play like a mage instead of a bruiser.
So basically, really you went from Yorick to Malzahar.
Yeah, in a sense. Yorick's ghouls
Hold on, that's a big shutdown. That might be going right over to Astros. The Bentage can get away. He ends up landing the ult and everything. I don't know why he turned around. Burn damage. Another solo dolo. Astros, are you just raging into him at this point? That's another big kill for Bentage now. 5-1-2 on the Zyra. I hope he's going Leandri's next, because that's going to be a lot of damage coming out from that Zyra in these fights.
Yeah, he missed. Unfortunately, since he has just the Rylai's, the Bleh, the Q, the Bleh is not doing a lot of damage right now. So the Zyra is just able to hit him under tower and root him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I wasn't.
Does feel bad.
Yeah.
What Zyra's a champion that like once Zyra gets ahead, it is very hard to like try to kill her because the plants just do so much damage and it's so easy for her to just buy time
And I like how
and
Benji's
poke
is
you
playing
out.
it. I like how Benji's is playing it too, where he always tries to put like a plant in different spots. Oh, but this is gonna be a big tower dive. Tries to get some people under him, but it's not gonna be enough. Turret shots coming out from everybody. The flag gonna mean so much. And the shutdown goes right over to Astros as he goes 3-3, able to get some return kill and revenge onto the enemy mid laner.
That is the downside about
like
Zyra is once you jump on her, she will melt. There's not a lot she can do to stop herself from getting pounced on.
Yeah,
Besides just drop ult at her, drops ult at her feet and prays. There isn't too much that she can do.
Smoothie, I'm proud of you for going to lethality, Yorick, but it's still looking like Hailstrom is still trying to push you down.
Yep, Hailstrom is still going. I mean, even though Smoothie did get an entire tower, which is really good, so the item and the gold is gonna be more even. But I mean, it is still on the Trundle to lose it rather than the Yorick to win it. You gotta be kind of fancy with it. You gotta get your W in a good spot where you can.
Getting trapped in between 3 members. You might just have to give up your life here. No point in flashing, even though you don't have it. No point in using anything else. Just go ahead, give up your life. Go back to the gray screen. Try again next time. Yeah, that was
well put. Yeah.
Just give it up. Try it again next time. You guys are still in this game. It's not very far off. I saw someone say this in the chat earlier about these 2 teams, and I'm actually really happy they said it because this is cool. I like seeing rivalries like this. These are 2 teams I can definitely see going back and forth with each other the entire season. And it's going to be like this is something that we should be excited for ourselves in Valhalla. It's just like some really good rivalries starting up, some 2 teams looking really even and really wanting to like bang it out, because we've been getting a lot of game 3s this season, I've noticed, as of late.
Yeah, Critter and KB are former teammates. Season 2, they were on the same team, so got a little bit of that one. A lot of players in this game are have been in Valhalla for since season 1. So there's lots of players that have interacted with each other quite a bit in this game.
Maiden drop, Senna ult used, trying to help save the Yorick, but now there's 3 members up here. Hailstrom, you might be surrounded by too many. Oh, he's trying to get away, but he might just have to give his life to the Mordekaiser instead of giving it to the Yorick. We will play again, and we've been in the same division for 2 seasons. See, that's big. So yeah, switching off teams, having to go up against former teammates, and at the same time, you're also now trying to compete for that top spot. You guys want to be able to go up against each other. This is absolutely insane, but caught in between 2 different people. You weren't expecting Kumquat to come from behind you. Ignited, a little bit of drop damage. Tack Alley here to try to help. Flash you use, so much dodging out, but Bentage, you're caught between 3 members. It's not going to be enough. Cobra Panther trying to come and help his mid laner, but it's not going to mean anything, especially when you got massive CC down there. A mid laner and an ADC might not be enough to take these 2, so it's just going to have to be a turnaround.
And kill went to the Vayne as well. Again, that the Vayne is going to be really difficult to stop. It is kind of hard for the Zyra to do anything to Vayne since she's just so mobile, which Zyra really just struggles with champions that are very either fast or have dashes, or she can go invisible, drop play and aggro. There's a lot of good things for. It's going to be harder later in the game for the side of FF15 to actually play out these team fights.
And I think right now it's starting to show a little bit, but still, Kraken Slayer is still behind in gold, just about 1.5, might be just over 2k after this Drake is taken. So it's not like FF15 is completely out of this game, but it's still right now anybody's game to take. 1500 is a very insufficient gold lead to really say like, oh yeah, we're safely taking this game right now.
Yeah, I mean the gold is very similar. no team has like has the 3 dragons. You know, we have two dragons on the side of FF15, but no one's at soul point yet. Still, lots can happen. Not big amount of like turret. There's only 1 turret taken by each team so far.
And yeah, and comparatively to both other games, Vayne caught between them in Brazil. You're going on vacation. Are you going to be going to the gray screen as well? Potentially, as you come out of Death Realm, 2 other members are there waiting for you. The Salt now on a rampage. FF15 still looking damn good.
Yeah, the Mordekaiser does win against Vayne early in the Death Realm once Vayne gets a couple items and is able to get like a QSS. If needed. She honestly doesn't really need a QSS. There's a certain point where Vayne just starts beating Mordekaiser in the Death Realm. But yeah, she can opt for a QSS if she wants and just negate that skill altogether.
I think right now FF15 is just the fact that even though, again, we did say that there were some issues with their comp, they're still playing the game pretty well. And for them to still have some kind of lead here is absolutely insane for them. So there's a reason why they're still currently known as an undefeated team. It's because of how well they've been, just how well they're playing the game. Even with this more standard solo queue type of comp, they're still doing very, very well. I wasn't expecting the Mordekaiser jungle to really work too well, but it's definitely doing some work here.
Yeah, I mean, early game, there's not a lot of champions. The only champion that really like beats him more like straight up is Trundle. The rest of the champions don't really do anything, but we'll see how Salt's able to play these fights later in the game.
The Finna ult gets put up top side to try to help Smoothie, but it's not going to be enough against them. Almost ends up taking them as the Maiden was able to help out just a little bit, but Hailstrom being smart, taking out the ghouls first so the extra damage doesn't end up coming out. The Maiden then gets taken out after Smoothie's death. So Hailstrom getting that getting that one solo dolo up in the top side.
Yeah, Smoothie was very, very close to winning that there. I think if he was able just to space it a little bit more, Maiden probably would have just killed him. But yeah, ultimately it's just a item difference right now. Once Yorick gets more armor pen, it might just be a lot harder for Trundle to actually just 1v1 him there. But yeah, it very close effort.
And that's with the Bramble Vest, I believe, too, was on Yorick at that moment. So we
yeah, it was.
See here though, Hailstrom was, I believe, taken to Brazil. Yes, he was, and he's still caught up in the middle of it, trying to run away from the Salt. But the Salt right now, unstoppable. And it's really looking hard right now for the side of Kraken Slayers to really try to take this game, as they're now ganging up in the middle. Amuma OP and Maokai OP called down. The Stars called down onto them, shut down as Critter is able to take out Mordecai. That's a big death, and now more death coming for them as Critter is currently chasing down the Yorick, but not going to be able to chase down Yorick. So instead, going for other members, able to take out Astros, able to take out KB Jelly on the Tom Kent, as Critter is now also able to take out Covert Panda onto the Senna. And this is an immediate turnaround over to the Baron, as only one member is down for the side of Kraken Slayers, but that's the rest of the 4 of them, and 4 important members is all they need, as the Baron can be secured. And with Hailstrom up right now, Ventage is trying to help and trying to stop the Baron, and he does, as the extra MR debuff ends up taking out Tack Alley in the middle of that. Flash having to be used, but it gets him all off the Baron. Good job on Ventage there to be able to stop the Baron take.
Yeah, Ventage was able just to just pretty much just finish off Tack Alley there. He was pretty low from the Baron, but yeah, without Zyra in those fights, it's really hard to like stop Asol from blaying on everybody. So yeah, I think if they have Zyra in that fight, it's a lot easier for them to play, but unfortunately just was not in that fight.
I'll say, right, I appreciate you guys for making Asol an actual playable champion now. Thank you, because it's fun to see this champion actually out on the Rift. I don't think how many people, like, I used to be a big fan of it back when Huhi was playing the OG Asol in LCS, and that was always really fun to watch. But now it's just like seeing the champion actually be something of actual value. It's crazy, because even with it falling behind to the Zyra, it's been very important in these fights, and it's looking pretty good alongside the Vayne now starting to turn on and come into this game too, with the Bork and the Gwynsu's both finished.
I appreciated Old Aesol for what it was. I thought it was a very unique character, and it played not like any other character in the game, so I liked it for that. But yeah, it was definitely much harder to pilot. They dumbed down the character quite a bit, and still feels naked to me without the stars. But
oh yeah, but we have some other way of that now. Senna ulti used up in the top side. Once again, we just watched Hellstrom beat down the turret as he's looking down to beat down the enemy laner. But the Salt is actually here this time. Pacing the Brazil was able to take out Smoothie before taking of the Brazil. Smoothie has to end up losing his life, but the Salt ends up taking Hailstorms for it. Gets revenge for his top laner, not without Hailstorm ending up taking the turret and a life alongside it.
yeah, he got to take a bite out of take the last bite of Smoothie before he went to Brazil. It was pretty good timing from Hailstrom. Really wanted that one.
This is man, this is the crazy thing. Now Kraken Slayers has now been able to swing the gold lead over to their side. Before it was about 2k up in the favor of FF15. Now Kraken Slayers sitting about 1.5k gold up. So everything's switching, trying to get away. KB Jelly though getting tracked up by the ult, not gonna be able to use W to get away, but the healing coming out from Senna trying to help him. But Critter now going on a killing spree as the last silver bolt Otto was able to take out the Tom Kench there. Very well done. 6-3-1 now on this Vayne.
Yep. Two core items for Vayne, so now probably is just going to get most likely like a Terminus or something to complete the 3-item Vayne build that will just essentially just kill everyone. So
at this point, we're just waiting to see that big ass power spike.
Yeah, we're slowly. Dragon Soul Point is on the side of FF15, so if they are able to get the Dragon Soul, it is really big for them. Okay.
Oh, hold on. We see them actually ganging up on him, and Cobra barely able to get away from that one.
Yeah, we did use all our cooldowns there to try to do that, which it was a little bit poorly executed.
Oh, and then ganging up on KB once again under the turret. This time Vayne not able to secure that last silver bolt. We do see Tac Alley though getting taken into Brazil by the Mordekaiser, so separating him from the rest of the fight. Hopefully he's able to live. Not gonna be able to live long enough as an assault able to do just enough damage. Zyra though able to take out Hailstorm and a solo up in that bottom lane. Wow, FF15 really starting to look good here as they're able to take out 2 members while all 5 still lay alive here on the Rift. And they're trying to gang up on the rest of these members. I think they're able to find another one. As Killer Conquer is now caught in between, caught in the middle of the cage, able to walk away. But Smoothie able to get him with the E right there at the last second, able to take him out. And now this is the Baron this time, but for FF15 instead of Kraken Slayers.
Yeah, really good to have the Zyra in the side lane versus the Trundle, as Trundle can't really do anything into Zyra. If he runs at her, she just throws E, and then her plants slow him down. It's pretty much impossible for Trundle to ever play into that champion.
Oh, hold on. Trying to get the Baron here, but not going to be enough. Astro's trying to do the play that Benches did a little bit earlier to stop the Baron and at least make something worth it to him. But instead, it's just going to be the Baron going over to the side of FF15. All of them able to get out alive as well with it. And this ends up being a big turnaround as the gold lead now completely evens out.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what FF15 needed to turn this game. Zyra up 2 levels on the Aurelian Soul, really strong right now. Also jungler up 2 levels on the Underwing jungler. Hailstorm still up 2 levels on Smoothie, but you know, he's going to be in the side lane for the most of the time, not in these team fights. He does look like he's going to be on the bot side of the map for when Dragon spawns, but we'll see if he gets collapsed on here.
I'm loving this from FF15. We are seeing a constant answer to Hailstrom's like split pushing. Yes, he took this tower. He was able to get something out of it. But it's like, yeah, that's all you got to do.
That's when you say worth in all chat. That's the top laner got tower big.
But I like seeing that they're trying to be more proactive on answering his split push. That's very good, a very big adaptation from FF15 that they did not have in the last game, which lost them the last game. But this time they're like, guys, we do have somebody on that split push, and they're actually playing a pretty interesting 1-3-1 comp, allowing the Zyra to just go ahead and keep continuously farming in these side lanes by herself, which obviously funnels more gold into her, but it keeps forcing others towards her, and then immediately we see FF15 just converge towards the Zyra. I'm guessing they're really playing like protect the president around her a little bit more in a sense, but it's like, you know, just like, hey, president's out on a walk, guys, but when the president calls, we need to be there. It's actually, oh, this might be the soul.
It's a big dragon fight.
They need to fight for it. Red team ends up taking it as they end up being able to secure the soul, and this is going to now be big damage coming out from both sides. But it's end up being more as the soul goes on killing spree, able to take out Tack Alley up in that bot side, but Astros is able to take out the enemy support with the shutdown as the soul goes down to Critter, or not to Critter, and he ends up going down as Critter now goes absolutely insane, able to take out 2 more members, and this is going to be the third. Critter not getting that kill is going to be Hailstrom, able to ace them out. The soul going over to FF15, but a big fight and a big win and a big gold swing going over to the side of Kraken Slayers. This is exactly what they needed right in that moment. They lost the soul, but they won a big old fight.
Yeah, Covert not strong enough yet to kill the tanks in a quick manner, and then obviously again this Vayne is just gonna be super hard for their comp to deal with in these like open-ended fights where there's just not really much we can do to stop the Vayne from running at us. But we did get the Dragon Soul. That is the highlight there. But yeah, we'll help a little bit, and with the Zyra and the Senna, we'll have them do a bit more like chip damage. So like the idea here would be that we poke them out before we're able to engage. It's just hard since, you know, Kraken Slayers do have a lot of engage buttons.
Yeah, and this is where this is the big concern where I was asking, like, really from minute 1 of the game, where's the CC on the side of FF15? And like, it's really difficult for them to keep themselves in this game if it's gonna lead to just being basically out CC'd the entire fight. And now you also have to deal with the fact that Hailstrom and Killer Kumquat eventually are both going to be these tanky meatballs that you can't really get through. Tack Alley just in general is just the Amumu already with the Sunfire Cape and the Thornmail, now building what I believe is going to be Force of Nature. It seems that right now it's just a big deal for them to try to get through this, and they just don't shred through these tanks enough. And so Critter and Astros are just sitting there just free firing in the background.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right now we're just kind of in a state where we're trying to push out mid. We're trying to get the remainder, the top tower and the bot tower for Kraken Slayers onto FF15. We're kind of just waiting for Baron to come up. Hailstrom is caught out here.
Chasing him down, slowed up, caught between 3 different tanky members from the side of FF15. Hailstrom's going to attempt to fight it out, but unfortunately, he can only stall the fight. He can't really win it, and that's going to be a big shutdown. Unfortunately, going to the support, the Tom Kench.
Yeah, at this point, it doesn't super matter who gets the kill at this rate. But yeah, I mean, Tom Kench is not like the worst. Obviously, you'd probably rather be the Orc or something, but you know, it's whatever. At this point, everyone's just buying take items anyway.
Yeah, they're just like, you know what, we killed Hailstrom. That's all that matters. We had to spend 3 to get it, but we did it.
That's the big one. Yep. Unfortunately for them, they don't really get much more than just killing Hailstrom off of the play. He's going to be up in time for the Baron. So, you know, you take him off the map. You stop him from farming for 40 seconds. That's about it.
Yeah, I think we're starting to get to the point of the game where it's now just going to become all about how well they just play. Items do obviously still matter, but I think now it's really a matter of how well both these teams play these fights. As we do see, the Baron is coming up in about 15 seconds, and we already do see that FF15 is trying to get themselves postured around the Baron, but it does seem that Killer is sitting around here trying to trying to get that counter vision down and trying to push their vision line up towards the Baron. Oh man, managed to get him behind, and Critter now going dominating as they're able to immediately take out the Zyra, as a lot of damage is not going to be there anymore. Teleporting in, Astros is in between the Salt and by himself, and that's going to end up being Atro's life taken. But it still doesn't mean that there's not a fight to be had. As Killer Kumquat has to run away, Hailstorm has to run. Vayne is walking back from the base after backing to go ahead and try to make sure that they make it out alive. Baron fight completely stopped. Hailstorm wants more as he's aiming for the Mordekaiser, but he can't get away. Locked in by the cage in York, but now they're just chasing him down more. Hailstorm, though, ends up taking a lot. It's still taking a lot of damage, but Tack Alley is the one who also ends up losing their life. Hailstorm looking like he's next as KB Jelly ends up taking that kill. KB now looking at the Vayne, but the Vayne is now looking at you as if you're the target. They do a lot of damage. They want to keep chasing down. Slowed down by the Senna. Now going to stop that chase as the Superman you start to barrel into the fight. That's an overall win, I feel, for the side of FF.
They did lose a tower for it, and their other one did take a beating. So the Vayne had to reset, so they weren't able to like fully clean up that fight. Salt did good by taking Astros out of the fight there and killing him, but on the other side, Bentage pretty much got assassinated by the Vayne early off in that fight. So, you know, once Vayne is in the fight again, it's again I'm trying to see like a miracle play happen where, you know, Bentage just gets like an E flash off on the Vayne and they're able to somehow one shot her. I'm not sure.
Right, like,
it's hard. She got the Jock Show now, so it is going to be hard to kill this Vayne.
Jock Show? What is why is it every time Vayne comes back into meta somehow, it's always some off-brand kind of BS that just makes no damn sense. But now it's like tank Vayne.
Yeah, I mean, once she gets her core 3 items, she pretty much does, like, because her damage is true damage. That's where most of her damage comes from on her W, which has no scaling. So she doesn't really need 5 damage items. She more just needs not to get one shot. Is the counterplay. It also works a little turn miss, but we have a fight working out here.
Yes, we do. As you do see, taking into Brazil is going to be Kumquat taken out of the fight there. But now that puts the Salt in the middle of 4 different members. Amumu uses the ult, keep him stunned up, but a lot of members are being shredded up. As Tack Alley is taken out by Cobra Panda. The Blad is just getting spewed all over the side of FF15, but Astros doesn't do enough damage to be able to keep going. He has to actually take himself out of the fight. But Hailstorm is here, and then the backline, Cobra Panda gets taken out by Astros as the Vayne is just going off with the silver bolts, but a shutdown on the Tom Kench goes over to Hailstorm. A lot of gold granted. Tack Alley, the only member lost on the side of Kraken Slayers, but it ends up being an overall 1 fight for them.
Yeah, they might be able to just run down and end the game here. I'm not sure. I'd have to watch the fight again. I'm not sure why Kumquat was the target that ended up in the death realm, but
it might have been
he just wasn't. It's either that or he thought that he could have killed the Maokai like really fast, and then they could have just continued the fight, but he just was not able to kill that Maokai.
He's trying to make the hero play. Unfortunately, going to end up losing his life at the end there as it ends up being taken. The game is now over. That is game 3 taken as Kraken Slayers is able to now kill the curse and take the game as 2-1 for these 2 rivals.
Yeah, I mean, well played by Kraken Slayers. I mean, FF15, despite like having what I feel a big comp diff, did play that well. Did not just roll over. They did have Bentage was a big highlight there. Salt was playing really well in the early game on the Mordekaiser. Yeah, they played well for how bad I think their comp was directly into Kraken Slayers, but in that game 3. But overall, I mean, well played. It was a fun series to watch.
That is crazy to say that these 2 teams were even the whole game. It felt like there was no time where either one of them was completely taking over the other. Was actually like, oh yeah, this team is definitely gonna win it. Like, no, anytime, like it was constantly back and forth. If we're looking for games to watch, it's gonna be these 2 teams. I'm now officially convinced. Like, now that seeing the last couple of weeks and being able to finally catch some of the games in week 4 coming up, I'm saying it right now. These are the 2 teams to probably watch the most when it comes to just seeing how they match up against people and their rivalry overall.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how FF15 bounce back, and if they can, they can take the loss in stride and just come back and continue to win. And then also, Kraken Slayers going to 2-1. We have a lot of teams going into 2-1. So over the next few weeks, it'll be interesting to see how the scores settle, and after we get more sample size, see like which teams are the clear big favorites. But I think both of these teams are probably in the top half of the league in terms of strength. I would feel like.
I agree with Critter and Bentage. It was a hell of a series. It was a fun series to cast, to watch. I'm sure it was fun for you guys to play, as you're already saying. That was honestly insane. I'm glad that we got to redo. I remember I was like, oh wow, I remember some of these moments, but it still was a complete surprise to me. Because again, half the games were just basically gone. So it was good to be able to recast these completely and to really get these like just shown, because these were again a banger series to really watch.
I also just got up the MVP poll, so be sure to get your votes in for who you think was the MVP for the series. If they're around, we'll try to do a quick interview. I appreciate you guys being around to do the cast. You guys were awesome.
Yep, big Hailstrom interview? Question mark.
Big Hailstrom interview right now.
Just talk to me about every time I entered. I'll tell you all about it.
Well, right now it's a tie between Hailstrom and Astros. Killer Conquo with a vote up there as well. Definitely, everyone deserves a little bit of recognition because that was one hell of a series to play, and you definitely had to keep yourself mentally in there, because there was times where it was like I'm sure it was very easy to just be like, yeah, let's just throw our hands up and be like, nah, this shouldn't have happened.
You're playing out the games. It was definitely a very close series. I could have seen it going either way as we played it. So I was very happy we took the victory overall. But very well played to FF15. They're definitely a very strong team, and was a fun series overall.
They had me sitting there thinking they were about to go undefeated for at least week 3, and it just, especially like I'm not gonna give it props, but the Salt and Bentage particularly were very very good in that game 3, and I really thought that they were gonna be the ones to kind of like take that, where it's like the Salt's taking out important members, Zyra's able to drop the plants and do a lot of damage, and that just supplements what Senna is able to do in the background, while Smoothie was able to split push and just be a raid boss.
Oh yeah,
But
for sure.
yeah, but you guys were able to counteract that plan, and it
Yeah, KB for that game too. If like I didn't just end the game, you guys were in a very strong position. I just the game ended because you couldn't back.
I feel like in you guys had that big team fight top lane, and you guys bit off a little more than you could chew by continuously pushing. If you guys kill, like I said, if you guys kill Astros there and like nobody dies, you guys probably win the game. But it is a coin flip, and unfortunately, you guys lost the coin flip, and Astros was able to get some back, and then he just ended the game.
It worked out for us where you were winning every team fight, but like I just ended the game, so it's kind of happens.
I think it was also I think it also was hard in the game too for like the MF to play. Like the MF really didn't even wasn't able to do anything besides obviously the MF had a big CS lead, but the MF wasn't really able to play the fights until like the last fight. Because like the Vladimir just kept sprinting at the MF, and
it was just
not
a
really
very
much.
odd game, and it ended really early because it went to basically 20 minutes, and then
it was just a base rush.
But I guess I won the MVP vote, so
big.
Ask me all your questions.
All right. First question: do we like Trundle?
Yeah, Trundle's great. If you just want to kind of win the game while you're fairly strong, but can kind of ignore the game, play Trundle.
Big. And yeah, second question. Do you like taking turrets?
I do like taking turrets.
All right, no further questions.
People just set them up and you knock them down.
Absolutely.
According to turrets, we put, yeah, like you said, you set them up, he knocks them down. That's just how he works out, I guess.
Yeah,
That's
it's honestly a pretty good way to play top right now. Like if you're into a bad matchup or if you're just into one where you just want to go even, if you have a good split lane and you can negate them or just be a pressure, you can do a lot for your team just by pushing towers. So definitely look into it.
you the more you know, Rainbow.
True. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of like insight from Hailstorm throughout the series. So I personally don't have very many questions for him. Do you have any more questions for him, Malco?
I actually do not. As you said, we got a decent amount of insight in the middle of the games. So it was kind of easy to kind of understand where everything was going.
For,
All I'm
just
gonna
for
ask is,
myself, I want to shout out Smoothie. I think he played really well. Um, despite me getting to push in a lot the past 2 games, I think he killed it, and Smoothie's a beast. So,
True.
I
Absolutely.
appreciated the lane, and it was a lot of fun. So, I look forward to our next matchup.
Nice. Love to hear it.
perfect. All right. If that's going to be everything, guys, it has been a great late night stream. For me, it is currently 2:37 in the morning. I'm not sure for everybody else, but I think that is a good way to end it off with a banger of a series to bring these two teams to 2-1. And remember this Sunday to catch us with hopefully a fixed spectator this time around on 9 o'clock p.m. as usual Eastern time on Valhalla Esports. Don't forget to use your subs if you got them. And we are out.
Goodbye, everybody.
Good night.
Peace.